I'm just cranky in general, apparently. Also,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nuuli Forged. We are a 5e
Eat the
actual
snack.
play stream. I've got it resubscribing for 39 months. Apparently, that's 39 months is how long it takes to complete a campaign.
Well, and then some because we had to be an affiliate first, and then
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
There was like
true.
a few months of affiliate as well, so that's a good point.
yeah.
But regardless, thank you, I've got it, for being here with us the whole time. You're the best moderator we've ever had that exists on Twitch. I've seen you ban those bots, so thank you for that. Welcome in, everyone. We are a 5e actual play stream. We play in the homebrew world of Nuuli, which came out of my brain, and 5 of my friends are brave enough to play in. 5 of your friends, you say? I see only 4. That is true for the moment, but do not worry. Our 5th player, Matt, is en route on the way home, whatever. He just got a little concocted with his work schedule tonight last minute, so we love him. He'll be here ASAP. In the meantime, let's introduce our other friends, and please introduce yourself, the character you played, and I don't know, give something fun. It can be anything. Fun bit of trivia about you, your character, random ass tidbit. We're all for the learning. Let's start at the top of the ladder with Mike.
No, that's a lot of pressure. I need a more specific question, but I am Mike, and I played Defect, the Arcanaton Barbarian. And oh, that's right. Sorry, Blockadius. Blockadius to everyone but Brig.
right.
And like just a fun. See, this is giving me PTSD of like those days in a new group of people, and the leader's like, all right, let's go around and say your name.
Just give like your favorite X-Men
And
character.
fun
It's not
fact.
hard.
Everyone needs to make up tell us 2 facts and make up a lie, and we all need to guess
Okay.
which one it is.
All right. If I wanted to show off a little bit, I was in a band, and we played a commercial jingle for Starbucks that played over the holiday season. This was like 8 years ago.
What?
Oh, it was much more than 8
There's
years
a
ago,
song.
dude.
Yeah, probably like
Yeah.
I don't know. But there is a song out there about white chocolate mocha that I was the drummer for. So
Actually,
that's the fun fact.
I think I have it because your bandmate at your wedding was like, you should try to get this played at the wedding, and I was like, okay, and then I forgot the USB drive.
Yeah, I'm
You to
I'm
link
definitely
that
looking
later.
it up.
So I think that I have that
2016
recording somewhere.
Okay, if you can share it, please. Yeah, just share it with everyone.
I'll have to look and find it,
Yeah.
but I think I have access to it somewhere.
Even I don't have it, so I would like a copy of that.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll have to double check. But your wedding was long enough ago, let alone finding the email or the drive that it was given to me on.
Is it for the Frappuccino?
Nope, it was a white chocolate
2016.
mocha.
White chocolate mocha Frappuccino. Okay.
Not a frappuccino.
Well, regardless
some research
of,
right now while
of
you
Mike's
guys-
proficiency with the drums, we'll move on
I'm
to
obsessed
our
now.
next player, Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber. I played Greg the Goblin Artificer, and I don't know who I am without that character. I'm not gonna lie.
Aw.
And what exactly is the question? This is the
Share a fun tidbit about yourself, your character, or random knowledge, whatever. Something fun.
fun tidbit. I'm not fun. This is why I need Greg.
Can't
That's
confirm.
your tidbit.
Very boring in real life.
Yeah, super boring in real life. This is my dragon. His name is Errol. How about that?
Oh, that's a good one. Dragon.
There you go.
Girl.
Very
Love
good.
that. Below her, we've got
Okay.
Sarah.
That is me. I am Sarah. I have most recently played Olive, the half-orc moon druid. I was also previously Carolee, the half-elf forest druid. I think
R.I.P.
about that for a second. I was like, what was she? She was Circle of the Land of the Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my dragon. He doesn't have a name, but he's a fun toy.
Very cool.
I don't know.
Fair enough. And down on the bottom of this row, we've got Tanner.
I'm Tanner. I played Nereus the Azamar Sorlock. Or my friends, what did my friends say? Worcerer.
Worcerer.
The dreaded
And then I
Worcester.
thought, I was like, that sounds too close to Worcestershire.
I think that's one of its selling points.
I'm a level 14 Worcestershire.
Yes.
Fun fact. God, I'm so bad at this shit.
See, yeah, I know.
I don't
Me
know.
too.
You had three other people rambling to.
Do you have a dragon? Do you have a dragon?
Do you have a dragon?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh,
We're
Be
gonna
surprised
get.
for Christmas.
My tattoo artist is in Connecticut though, so we're gonna have some good times.
excellent.
We'll off to Ember again.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know. I'm a fucking nerd. There's so much shit about me. I have a dice problem. How about that?
Oh, you do. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I'm a dice goblin.
How much dice do you own?
I have
Give
a
us a
bag of
number.
holding.
It's infinite.
I have 3 other bags, but
There you go.
What's our most expensive die or set of dice?
probably the one that the group got me for my birthday. The D20 says yeet on a 20 and fuck on a 1.
I have something similar.
Yeah,
They
that
make such
was
a nice
made out
sound,
of
too.
the.
Yeah,
That
cool.
was made out of some kind of glass, wasn't
They're
it?
prism.
Prismatic
dice, yeah.
glass. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I want to use them again someday.
I know, right? Well, wonderful. And I am Jared. I'm your humble dungeon master here on Nuuli Forged. I play everyone and everything else that is not the 5 player characters. And a fun thing about me is I'm huge into all kinds of nerdy 80s shit. Thundercats, Transformers, specifically the Decepticons. Those are my 2 big jams. X-Men,
Thunder.
all that nerdy crap. That's me. Right up my alley.
Do you love Thundercats?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't think so.
Circle tattoos for the win.
Do I?
What is
yes.
that? Like that SpongeBob episode where he's pulling down the walls and it's the dirty diapers. It's like
You have made a reference that is far too young for me.
oh, sorry.
I never watched SpongeBob.
I forgot I'm the youngest one of the group.
You are the babe.
Well, yes. Also, I never watched SpongeBob.
No, I have 2 sisters like a decade younger than me,
Wild.
so that helps with my references.
That's good.
They did call Panic at the Disco once vintage.
Oh, that's funny.
I didn't talk to them for a month and a half, I think.
Valid.
Insane. Well,
Okay.
all that being said, let's dive into, well, not last time on Nuuli Forged, because last time on Nuuli Forged, you all defeated the Ibn Shade and saved Nuuli as you know it.
Correction,
For a-
Craig defeated
For a
the
hot
Ibn Shadow.
Yeah.
For a hot second, I thought you were going to recap the entire season. I was like, "Holy shit, he's doing it!"
Here's the recap.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened. There was a lot of shenanigans.
There was some shenanigans. There was some mushy stuff.
Some good stuff, some bad stuff, some boring stuff.
We
Yeah,
killed a lot of
mushy,
things.
non-mushy.
Yeah, it's
We
been a
made
wild
Spook
ride over
question
the
his
last
life
4
choices
years.
a lot.
Yep.
Indeed,
Mhm.
Indeed, you did. Well, that being said, first off, this episode is very different. It's a Q&A. So if anyone in the chat is watching and has a question, You are free to enter the question in the chat. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Ives got it. And
there's some cues. Maybe we'll A them.
Yeah, we might A some stuff. But first, I would like to just know from all the players a couple of things. First off, let's go around, and I would love to know what you think the end game is for your character. Not like they become king of the world or anything like that, but like, oh, they enter politics, or they start looking into this mystery, or something like that. I'm intrigued to see what people kind of envision their characters doing. What is their path after the Misfits, or do they incorporate the Misfits into the rest of their life, or what, or their plans, or what? So those are the kinds of things I'm intrigued to know from y'all. And let's do a reverse order this time. Let's start with Tanner.
Oh fuck!
Because you actually had you actually had two characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and both actually technically survived to the end of the campaign, even though one became an NPC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
I don't. So Adis, I would assume, just continues to try to find more information. I would imagine he would eventually try to go back to that area in the mountain range that had a bunch of those petrified people, that kind of stuff. He becomes an archaeologist, or would it be a what's the anthropologist?
Anthropologist.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of both.
People.
Very cool.
Yeah. Nereus, he's just gonna fight the gods.
Okay.
Essentially,
Keep it simple.
Yeah. I would say, to simplify it, Nereus is questioning why, they interfere with everything, and then when something bad starts happening, they're just oh, not my problem, even though they created it, or at least had.
But did they create it? The gods are just gods. They're just people, but the gods.
Yeah, but also you have a kid, and then you're just bye.
Okay, that sounds like daddy issues.
I will say the only bit of in the gods' defense I'll throw out here is the gods didn't actually. Only one god actually created the Arcanum Progeneris, which was the crystal that was shattered and became the shards. So only one god created it. But that's
well. If everybody dies, they also lose all their worshippers. So
Right.
Sorry.
Hey, that's a valid point. Very cool. So Nereus goes on unholy crusade, as it were.
Here comes
Sarah.
the Spanish Inquisition.
Nice. Tell us about Olive.
Olive is definitely going on this odyssey with Greg and Paduk to the Redentious Causeway, where she might try. I feel like she's probably going to milk staying there as long as possible because it's interesting and they have cool trees.
Cool.
And when I think when the elves finally throw us out, probably for being rude to them, because we're likely to be rude to them. She'll probably go back to. I don't think she's ever going back to the cave. She has now been out in the world, and the cave is lonely and boring.
Interesting.
And Fay Harbor is not so far from her home that she couldn't go visit, or that her handful of friends who weren't burned alive could come visit her. But she'll probably do something boring like set a druid grove or something in the manor grounds, because that's what druids do when they retire, right? Is they make groves.
That's entirely up to the druid. But cool. Amber, what about
mom?
Yeah. What about Greg?
Obviously, we're returning the book.
Sure.
But I think Greg will just never be alone again. Greg is gonna stick with Spoot and Olive as long as they'll stick with Greg and whatever Greg is doing. Grig will try to find Nereus. Like, Grig is not letting go of this group of people and will, like, forever be bothering them, is the primary directive. And then I have a feeling that it's going to be more of the same. Like, I think Grig would make some deal with this elf to go do this again. Right? Go give me something else that's interesting to go and fuck with. To, like, continue on this trend of, like, Grig and the Misfits. We're gonna go, like, find out some big bads and explore some cool stuff and, like, learn about stuff and, you know, science, but with adventure and glory.
Very cool.
Science.
And I think, I don't think that Grig will stay still ever again. But also Grig will always have a buddy. And it will hopefully be one of the core buddies.
Very cool. All right. I dig that. That's interesting because Grig was always so like, nope, nobody but one. And now like they've developed this attachment to all of the Misfits.
Well, we have to keep in mind that Grig was like 9 or 10 when we started this, you know, and however X amount of time passed through this whole thing. Like, Grig was kid. Grig just hit grown-uphood in Goblin years.
Right.
I think
So
the
now-
entire season only took place like in the span of 3 months, right?
About 8 months.
I guess that's...
No, I was kidding.
Okay, right. That's
still
what
8 or
that was
9.
one of our questions tonight of like, okay, how much time actually passed? It took 4 years for us, but anyway. But yeah, Grig will hang on to the folks they've met. They may not like very many others, but they're probably going to try to drag Spoot as many places as possible.
Sure. I think
And Olive too, right? Just come with me, and you'll see.
And then just yell at every lightning storm.
Yeah, Nereus, where the fuck are you?
Get over here!
We're having way more fun than you are.
Wonderful. And moving on up, let's ask Mike. What
Thank
do
you for
think
asking me
of
because
Blocadius?
I've started writing my own fan fiction about what happened to Defect. Because I know you, Jared, as Umbradius and Archimedalius were all like, hey, if you come to this island or wherever he's from, you will never, ever, 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 ever come back to Nuuli, Continental Nuuli. So in my fan fiction, in my storyline, in his endgame, Defect returns to wherever he's from, because he never did specify if it was an island or a continent or whatever.
Just a place.
A place.
Yeah, that's true. They
He
never.
actually never mentioned like the name of the place.
Nope.
So I will just call it Defect's Island for now. Defect returns to where he comes from, where he came from, and helps to stabilize the country by helping to wage war against the enemies of said Defect's Island. This takes place in the span of 5 years.
That would be
Gruesome
impressive.
battles. In that time, Defect has also learned much more of his culture. Regarding his relationship to Umbradius, Umbradius has tried to rekindle the relationship, but Defect is just not that same guy anymore. So at most, all they have is like an amazing friendship, but nothing more than that. At the end of actually, before I go on, initially, Grig continues to like every day send messages through the sending stone to Defect.
Defect.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
You dead yet?
No, still fighting. Fell down a couple times, but still fighting. However, over the course of the 5 years, it becomes less and less until long periods of time have come by without any message sent by Defect or by Grig. At the end of 5 years, Defect finds a way off the island, despite everyone on the island telling him that he cannot go back to the continent, but he finds a way. And he returns back to the manor. This is, of course, 5 years since we all parted ways. And he sends out a mysterious message. Come back to the manor. One by one, everyone returns back to the manor. And, there's joyous reunions. Greg and Defect just go straight to their non-mushy relationships. Like, hey, you're back. Cool. Something like that.
You wanna
Still
see this
workshopping that.
foot I found? It's in a jar.
Show me the foot, but then I have a mission for all of us. I wipe everything that's on the table because I've always wanted to do it. Just like whatever food was like placed on it before anyone could touch it, I just wipe the table clear of everything. And I lay down a map and I say, I think I know where my axe is.
Yes.
love it.
And we start our journey for Defect's axe.
I love it.
Sold.
Thank you. This is my fan fiction.
That is a hell of a
Right,
fan
right.
fiction.
Thank you.
Can you
The
try
legend
on
of
the
the
axe?
five. The
I'm-
legend of the five misfits.
Wait, could we just have Spoot scry on the axe? Is that a thing?
I'm just gonna
He knows
tell
it.
you that the axe is still back in Craghold.
We didn't want this to be one of Mike's questions, okay? We want Mike's fan fiction.
Yeah, no, but we have to get.
I
we have
mean,
to go on
it'll
this
take
to
you
get
all of
there.
like 5 minutes to get the axe.
But maybe somebody picks it up. Somebody could pick it up. Roll some dice. Find out what happens.
That the axe went to the area on the map where it's like a portal to the hells.
Yeah.
Be the
There we go. I
shortest-
love it. Yep.
We're
be the
just gonna
shortest
go.
campaign.
It's all
We'll go
it's all
fight
great.
some
It's a hell of a fan fiction.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
so
sold.
That's good. And Matt, we have you in audio form, so that's lovely.
Hello, this is me, Matt, in audio form. And
Yeah.
I have recently played Spoot in audio visual form.
Both of those are correct.
Both true.
Yeah.
So what?
sure.
What do you think the like ultimate end arc of Spook is? Like, where do you think he goes off to next and tries to get started?
You know, I have thought a little bit about this. I will say, I love what Ember said about Grig's post-campaign goals. I think that is perfect, and sort of only slightly alters maybe what Spoot is going to do, because I think that like Spoot will embrace and support that 100%. If Grig wants to keep moving, obviously that already aligned with my goal. I think I had mentioned back at the manor, the house is nice, the people are great, but like, man, I can't stay there all the time. Like, I have to get back out and move on the road.
Just no
I think
flying.
a little bit of it for Spoot is
All the flying.
Spoot's gonna find ways to put Olive on like side missions that involve flying, and we'll just be like, and we're gonna walk to the next town. But no, part of it is Spoot thought his journey was to the Ibn Shade, and that his road ended there. And it did.
Olive can
Well, then
polymorph you 10 times a day at this point.
But then it wasn't the end. He knows why. He's obviously not upset about it. And I think it's sort of like this cool new path that he gets to take with Grig. And his secret dreams of becoming the new Defect are going to come true. Sorry, Defect.
Are we Groot?
I'm just kidding.
Ha!
That would be amazing. Are we Groot?
That is good. That is really good. I am Groot.
We are Groot.
I would like to point out that Mike still
Exactly.
refers to his character as Defects and not Blockadius, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, but what does he want to do specifically? Well, I think there's going to be some consulting with his deity, who he hopes to perhaps maybe like passively share with Greg, who may or may not be interested and receptive to this stuff now.
Nah, there's a dragon. Dragons are cooler.
I'm also really cool in supporting other gods. This is not a monogamous religious relationship.
Your god might
Support.
be
Yeah,
intrigued by that.
might be the jealous type.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. We'll talk about it. He and I. Or the
Yeah.
silver skinned lady who I'm much more interested in these days. Wink, wink. Just kidding. Yeah, there'll be some some consulting with him. I'll be using my powers that I've probably been using up here in the campaign. But I think part of what should happen next is I don't know if I fully trust that this threat is gone. There were still supporters out there, and I don't know if I believe all of them were at the final battle. And even if they were, I don't know if I believe all of them were killed. So, as much as Spoot previously hated violence, I think part of his goal may be to track down any information about any would-be supporters, lest this threat slips back out, under our noses, so to speak.
Well, you do know for a fact that at least one of the more powerful members or followers of the Ibn Shade at the time did escape.
Exactly.
So who knows what that lovely little orc is going to be up to.
I'm
going to find them and crush him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all for let's just keep on the road and find out what's next and learn things. This is awesome. But I think if it was at all part of Spoot's destiny to have that main, quote unquote, main quest focus that he's cursed with, I think this is his second curse, is that he's going to be like, no, we have to do something about this. And I think that I would like to think Grig would be on board for tracking down the last of the black-handed hooligans and
fuck them up.
and wipe on them out. So yeah, I think that's going to become his ultimate goal. In the meantime, I really would like him to work on his book. It's always been a dream of mine that he publishes in some small form a memoir of the travels of the Misfits, but it's no timeline on it. This is going to happen in his own time. But it would have a way to sort of highlight each of the members of the Misfits' contributions to what ultimately was saving the world as we know it.
Yeah. Very cool. I like that. That's a good answer. That's a good stretch of theory. Cool.
I'm really glad he's not going to be alone too. Part of me was a little worried that he was going to have to set off on his own and sort of become this weird, obscure figure on the mountaintop, kind of always wandering the road thing. But I think the idea of the Misfits continuing on to some degree is pretty okay with him.
Yeah, and we're leaving these characters for a while. There's always a chance we may come back and visit them later for a little one shot or two or something like that, just to dip our toes back in. But it felt like this was a good time period and spot to end their story for the moment and give you all a chance to try something new and flavorful in a different way.
Campaign 3, we go to Defect's home and start a war campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be ready.
Not unfeasible.
I mean, obviously, Spoot's going to check in with Defects using his sending message, and if Defect ever says, "Hey, man, I need you back over here ASAP," we'll find a way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I know you guys would.
Yep.
I believe it. And if anyone could do it, you all are powerful enough. You can probably figure out stuff.
Spoot would totally make us take a boat instead of a quick way.
Well,
Yeah, but I have the dagger. Just scry. We could teleport. Go.
No, Spoot would want the boat.
Cool. Now, are there any questions that you all might have for
Bodo's
something
body
that
for
we?
science.
Yeah, exactly, for science. I think that maybe, in a month or two after Nereus starts on his god quest, we'd get back together and go to open a hole to the astral plane and look for Bodo's body.
Oh,
What happened to it?
Does it decay?
Where is it?
It does not decay. It's just floating in the astral sea until a time when
Is there anything that can eat it?
there's all kinds of stuff that could eat it.
Can something
Did
eat
it
it?
get eaten?
Not at the moment. No,
An
it's
astral
just,
whale just.
at the moment, Bodo Proudbody's body is floating in the astral sea, just kind of with the same momentum that you pushed it into the portal with.
Okay, so there's no friction in the astral sea.
Yeah,
Did it run into anything
Yeah.
cool?
that I won't say. But
Yeah.
All right, Amber, Darius and Greg are going to Spelljammers. Let's go.
I will say anything that
And-
found it would have just been like, oh, it's a
Ew.
dead body. Okay.
At the beginning of campaign 2, can one of them roll a D100 to determine the fate of Bodo's body after the X number of years that it passed?
No, because it's floating in a timeless space. I reserve the right to do something if I want with that body.
I love it.
Oh no.
Bodo's body
Ooh.
fell from the sky
Ooh.
someday.
I was
and
really
his body-
hoping that would be your answer. Okay, great.
Hey, the last time something fell through a hole in the astral, it was very beneficial for you all. So,
It's true. Hey, this is way back.
yeah.
What's up with Mies? Can we go visit
Okay.
Mies?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the mighty Mies. Yes, Mies.
Yeah.
Mies is measing.
That's we should go visit.
Yes, Mies is the head kobold of the Red Sand Kobolds, the newly integrated kobold clan that has taken up residence in the parts of the Red Sand iron mines that are like worked through and worked out. But now all the kobolds kind of live in those top warrens, and they have kind of become a large part of the workforce of Red Sand, which has freed up other people who were working in the mines to pursue other things, like if they wanted to be a farmer, if they wanted to be a craftsperson, blacksmith, or whatever. So actually this influx of like eager and specialized kobolds into the mines has greatly improved the town of Red Sand.
We
All
started a
these
revolution,
kobolds
guys.
are taking our jobs.
Kobolds are just fantasy AI.
It's not like they replace. It's not like they replace the workforce. They happily work alongside anyone else who wants to work there. And the mines are still
There's a political
overseen
statement
by
there.
the town. But it's a couple people have moved on to like other prospects.
Boom.
Is
Started a
there-
revolution.
Are they still eating the bits of the blue dragon?
Oh no.
No, that didn't
That's
last
probably
long.
So bad. Be so rotten by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they only really did it to survive on that trek. They never really wanted to.
Right,
Fair,
right.
fair.
Because, like, it's still, like, a sentient creature, and, like, they weren't as interested in that.
What about the raccoon jersey? Is he still doing good?
Oh, yeah.
Jersey is thriving, yes. He and Fluxus never really spoke after Fluxus said, well, if you want to leave, you can. And he was like, good, I'm out. Jersey has set up... Actually, all of Spoot and Grig would have run into Jersey's toll booth.
Oh my god.
He has set up a little toll booth on the main road.
Into the causeway.
Between in the Glimmering Void, between Fay Harbor and the Verdentin Glen. and he just set up a little toll booth. He doesn't like enforce it, but he
I was about to say, I'm not sure Spoot would support that. But
yeah, like it's like a little booth that's like him sized with like a branch that comes down at like the 2-foot high level, and really like most people can step right over it, and he just curses at them when they do. But that's about as far as it goes. Normally his toll is like, hey, you got any like snacks or something shiny, and he just is making a little collection for himself. He chats with people who are willing to chat and like bitch about the world. Like he's down for that. But he's having a great time being a talking raccoon in the middle of nowhere.
That's cute. Ooh, talking creatures.
I've got it asked. We'll come back to that. I've got it has asked about the bugbear that picked up the gauntlet. That I will not elaborate on because it's a potential plot hook for anything from this point on. So that I won't share.
wow.
Right, there's a bugbear running around with a null gauntlet.
Yeah.
Maybe I should make that part of Spoot's like post. Like we should track down.
We should
the
just
rest of
find all these items.
Yeah.
and just make sure they're safe. I know that the constellation of power is kind of what happened to get us in this mess in the first place, but
Yeah, but we're the good guys. We can consolidate exactly as much power as we want.
Totally okay.
yeah, consolidation. Sorry, that's something that didn't exist probably.
I'm not gonna go crazy and try to start a goblin empire.
No, never.
Little do you know, Greg actually got 2
You would make your father so
timeline.
proud by doing that.
I don't know if Spoot would allow that to play out without at least a firm conversation.
I'm gonna just
For
spread
wag of the
revolution.
finger.
We'll here's another addition to the Grig future plan. Anytime we encounter goblin hordes, I'm gonna be like, there was this goblin king in the empire, and that. Gonna just like plant that everywhere I go.
Yeah.
They're all gonna be the Goblin King. There's gonna be the 3rd Goblin War when
Yes.
during the new campaign.
Start a revolution. No big thing.
So you were asking another question, Amber, about talking.
Oh yeah,
animals?
about Rendy.
Oh yeah, Adis and Rendy and Glass Guy.
Yeah. Rendy Carvajal.
Should we help them with that? We should probably help them with that. Figure that out.
I don't know. What do you do with a talking scorpion?
No, he's from someplace and he got cursed.
According to
And
him.
he was kind of a jerk, as I recall.
Well, yeah, I hate him.
Mark.
Greg absolutely hates him. But that doesn't mean it's not a good venture.
I will say, Rendy was based on the idea of a classic used car salesman.
Hey, look, we have Matt in video now.
Woohoo!
I now exist in another form.
Both audio and visual.
Yes.
A 3-dimensional person now.
Next, you're going to tell me that there's such a thing as a laser disc.
Well,
For many years.
here's the thing.
But yeah,
Before
no.
that was-
Rendy Carvajal was based on like a used car salesman, because he felt he got the short end of a stick, and maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I will say, yeah, he was indeed a elven descended individual who got turned into a scorpion by a much more powerful magic user.
I mean, Spoot's a bit of a sucker for the elves. He probably would venture out to help this poor person.
Well, he lives in the bungalow with
Right.
with
Adis.
Relgan
Adis
and
and
Adis
Relgan.
and Kaelin.
Yeah, how's Relgan's life doing? Should we help him too?
Well, he's clear.
Grig is going to, every time I get home, learn a little bit more of that secret language.
Yeah.
That's true.
For
That's a good
sure.
point. Yeah, I think Spoot would be down for
So
that.
many languages.
Spoot would also like to visit his family. I forgot to say that earlier. I don't know when he's going to squeeze that in. But
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff is fine. Totally doable. To be
Just
like,
wanted to go on
check
record
in.
before they die in a horrible, like, Campaign 2 accident.
Yeah, after Mucklow has become dry bed.
Yeah.
Oh,
something
shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I didn't like that.
Oh, on our as
Sometimes you all inspire me, so you know.
I should learn to shut up.
Yep.
Yes.
As we continue to wander on pointless quests, Olive has some very specific directions to an orc settlement that may or may not exist.
Oh yeah.
It's
We
like-
could go to there.
It was like, walk for 4 days in this direction and then turn this way and walk for another day and things
Oh
like
god. That sounds.
That sounds like Morrowind
Familiar.
directions, not specific directions.
We should go to there.
Yeah, it's possible.
You'll find out what those orcs that may or may not still be there, because there was a vision, so I have no idea how long ago that was.
Yeah. That is something that Olive could take up at a later date. Yeah. I will not say what she would find when she does this, if she does it, because who knows if it may come into play at some point. Anything else? Any other questions, or like, oh, what happened to that guy? What about this drop point?
Is there
Who beat the
anything you
crap out
can
of-
say? I'm sorry. Is there anything you can say about where Defect is from officially?
I can say a lot of things about where Defect is from. I will not.
All right, that answers my question. Thank you.
Well, I will say this: it is very far away from Johanna.
Okay, is it
I
a
mean-
small island or is it a continent?
It is not
Yeah,
a small
like-
island.
Is it a section of a continent or is it like the
It's
whole?
a parallel universe, guys.
No, there's a
Time and
desert-
space. Somebody
desert
cross the
continent.
streams.
Oh, there's the mysterious continent.
I'm not going to
Is
tell
there
you.
a name to this place? Is there a name?
There is.
Will you tell it to us?
Can we
Nope.
pretend that?
Blocklandia.
Locks.
I will not share any specific details about where it may or may not be, because it's possible such things may come up at later
what?
dates.
You know what, Jared? This is better. This is better for my fan fiction. I can make up whatever shit I want,
Yeah,
and it's canon.
you've surrendered.
You can
control of
absolutely
Mike
make
now.
up whatever shit you want. It will not be canon.
Fan
Oh,
fiction.
It will be
Doesn't
canon
matter,
to
yeah.
your fan fiction, though. How about that?
It'll be part of your head canon. It'll be great.
yeah.
The Legend of the Five Misfits. It's a legend. Doesn't have to be true.
True story.
None of what we did is canon.
Yeah. Tanner, you had a
It's
question.
when I write it, when Spoop writes it down.
I just wanted to know who beat the shit out of Meridian at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Meridian was caught by unseelie agents stealing those
Stealing apples.
star apples from the
Ah.
garden of the unseelie court queen.
Was Meridian the
Gotcha.
sandwich guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Meridian was the
Green
sandwich
cloak
guy.
sandwich
yes.
guy.
Okay. So I remember who Meridian was, and I couldn't remember if the sandwich guy was the same guy or not.
Yep, he was. Yeah, he was the sandwich guy. He was the guy on the side of the road. He popped up quite a few times, and sometimes you didn't catch it.
I almost forgot about him completely, not gonna lie.
I will
I
say
know
he
one
definitely shows up to the Misfits later on in the timeline.
Oh, he's not dead.
He wasn't the last time you saw him.
No, he got beat up real bad. He was helping us though. He's so
Yeah.
sweet.
I
Do
for a
the
long time kept
dwarves-
confusing Meridian and Imolad. I kept thinking that Meridian was the frog because he had a green cloak.
Oh,
No, not at all. Imolad has green skin with like, or red skin with like black patches.
Right, he's like a
It's a
poison
tree
dart
frog.
Yeah, he looks like a poison dart frog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Defect does not get a head cannon attachment. I've got it, but fun idea for a mod kit.
Defect comes
Shoulder
back with
cannon?
the Predator shoulder cannon.
Right.
Yeah. Going into fan fiction. I got a question. So at one point before the big battle, and we were all like at the manor, just kind of killing time. There's a moment where Defect shows like I forgot what happened exactly. Like maybe he popped open a compartment or something on his body, which provoked a gasp of shock from Umbradius and Archimedalius. And I chose not to pursue that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But can you tell us if there was a reason why they were shocked?
Yeah. In the House of Sparkarian, doing that is a very, that's a very private act. And the fact that you just did it so casually was like, ooh.
Oh,
You,
like he's running around.
you
without
just
pants
dropped
on?
Trow in front of them, essentially.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Shameless.
Wait a minute. What did you
Hey,
do?
how are the
I missed part of
vampires in
that.
Britaria?
That was my second question.
What was that?
The
How are
vampires.
those vampires?
So obviously you killed a fair few of them.
Yeah.
But you didn't kill them all. You bamfed out of there. So
Yeah.
they still exist.
I do.
Are they still in
And
control, or did people figure out their shit?
Well, they are no longer in control.
Okay.
Paduk kind of wrestled away secreted away the thing that was keeping them in control. And
Okay, good.
And Paduk hid that. And when the natural weather returned, it meant that they were very limited in what they could do, which led to a lot of speculation. And eventually a little bit of an uprising, maybe directed by whispers from a certain invisible fairy.
Revolution!
And then storming the
Yeah.
castle with torches and pitchforks.
Could be.
So lots of events have done with the oppressors between the fanfic and what Paduk did.
Yeah, well, and the kobolds, they have their own deal in a whole town.
And Grig's Goblin Uprising.
I mean, it's not an uprising. I'm just, goblins, you could be more than this. Saying, you don't have to eat trash.
Yeah. The stories never end.
I have a question actually for everyone else. Is there anything you would have changed about your character? Either story-wise or just developing the character? Like when we level up or whatever.
I feel like Olive's backstory was so vague because I threw her together so fast that I'm just kind of like, yeah, she was in this town and she had a friend.
I too feel like I didn't have as strong of a backstory, perhaps as Nereus or Defected.
Don't compare to me because I kind of get
Yeah, Tanner is
very carried
obsessed.
away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jared definitely helped fill in the rest. Now, when it came time to flesh out Muckla, we had a conversation about that, and I thought that was really great because I didn't have to know all the answers right away, but it was nice to be a part of it later.
Yeah, I never want
yeah.
you all to feel like you have to have all the answers, but that's why I like having the discussion with you when we create your characters. Some of you have a very clear idea of what you want and the kind of character you want to build. Tanner. And some of you
I
just
only have 18 currently in D&D Beyond that are currently waiting to be used.
Ridiculous.
Y'all
And
never asked
You should
about
kill
the
Tanner's
snails.
characters more often so we can see these
You
other
really should,
characters.
right?
and
I know,
some
right?
of you just come with I want to play a this, and
Yeah.
then we got to build from that.
Not
And
to
that's
use
okay.
a metaphor.
Nobody ever asked about the snails.
Olive never offered.
Snails?
There is the
snails!
rolling joke that we never asked Olive anything about
Oh,
the
that's
adventure
true.
she had.
The adventure,
There
Yeah.
was
that's
one
what-
moment. There was one moment where it was Defect and Olive on the road.
Oh, that's
and
true. The
Defect
two of you.
asked about it, and Olive's like,
Yeah.
"Shut the fuck up." It's
Yeah,
just something.
I do remember Spoot
Right.
saying something like, "Do you want to talk about it?" And she was like, "No."
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I think by then the joke was established that no one cared about
Yeah.
her backstory, so we were obviously trying to.
It wasn't even my backstory. It was like in the middle of
Oh,
the
yeah.
adventure.
Your mid-story, and we were
Yeah.
obviously trying to backpedal and
Well, there was a period of time where Sarah was unavailable, so Olive had like departed the group
Olive
for
went
a
on a
bit.
side adventure and met these like creepy glass snail thing that like left a trail of glass everywhere they went.
That's weird.
Interesting.
That is so weird.
Well, so
Flail snails. That's what they were.
Yeah.
that's our question today then.
Very edible.
What does Olive
not
want to
edible.
tell the party now? that
Right.
She never got to tell about that journey. Now's your chance. And then I'm going to answer Mike's question.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that.
Oh, she went on this whole quest and like brought the harvest back to the people of Broken Lake. I was like, crap, what's the name of the place where she was from?
Southbrook. But
I love that you became a local hero in the middle of our campaign, and then we just, when you got back, we were like, no time for that, Olive. We gotta save the world.
We gotta go now.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a great time.
Yeah.
I found something. We tracked down these giant. They were giant snails that instead of leaving slime behind, they left this like trail of glass, and we had to like scrape up and grind all the glass, to re-sow the harvest so that the people of Southbrook could have food to eat that winter.
It's pretty legit.
You're so
and
kind and caring. Yeah, good job.
Now, as a high-level druid, you can just cast plant growth over 8 hours. Is it
Yes.
plant growth?
I'm about to say, or just bring spoon along, you can cast, what is it, Plentiful Bounty or something like that, which is like enough food for an army.
Sure, but the point was to make Southbrook self-sustaining. again.
Self-sustaining.
No, I know. That's
Yeah.
pretty. It's kind of a
got
beautiful
real
like
fucked up.
arc to your Southbrook story, especially now that you've said like you're not going back. That's fine, but you left them in a better place than they were, which is kind of beautiful.
yeah, because if you remember, the Red Crows had pretty much like decimated the.
Yeah, they set the town on fire.
Literally, they were killed in tents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They were definitely killed by people, and they had been exploited. Like all their crops that they had been forced to fast grow, they went and had to re-sow.
Yep.
Oh, it looks like we dropped.
We lost Matt again.
Womp womp.
Wasn't he just going to answer a question too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
I mean, I can answer that question about what I would change. I think I would just have used more artificery things. I didn't do very much making. I feel like I let that mechanic go by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was just sitting here minding my own business, and Discord just said no.
It's been on my computer, and that's why I'm on my phone now.
Now you're moving like a old samurai movie where your lips weren't matching your mouth.
yeah.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
Change is everything.
Interesting. You feel like you didn't make as much use of the like crafting of magical items sort of deal.
Me? Yeah.
But that's something that like Grig could like take up as like a gig whenever they wanted. So that's always good.
Well,
No craft will ever be as good as Stefano.
My little cannon? Is it?
The
My
robot.
little cannon.
Yep. And eventually Grig gets to make 2 of them at a time. So
You definitely
Okay.
did lean. I mean, like in your defense, you definitely did lean into the other side of the artificer in a way that's like, sure, you maybe didn't make as much, which you spooked school glasses, the sphere.
Yeah, I did the quick ones,
Cannon.
but there were some fun, like the I could like good or bad or something like that. What is this silly feature? I have to look up the name again.
good idea, bad
Basically,
idea.
I could good idea,
Good
bad
idea,
idea.
bad
Thank
idea.
you. Or like I could have actually made something instead of just like infusing things,
Oh.
Yeah.
and it would have been fun. But it also takes time.
Yeah.
True. At a
Grig
certain point
had
by
an
the time-
ability where like, and this is a thing about 5e and the crafting mechanics. They're kind of explained, but not really, and it's a very
Yeah.
time, especially enchanting something permanently, like takes like a long time, like takes like a month or a year, depending on what it is.
By the time you
Yeah.
got those abilities, we were definitely at a point in the campaign where we didn't have that, though. In your defense, like it wasn't that you chose.
It's true. We
something.
didn't have
Yeah.
time.
Well,
Like,
part of
by
the
the time we got-
part of the ability was that it sped up the time, it reduced the time that Greg took, like
An eighth, yeah.
they
Right.
could do it in an eighth of the time it would take a normal person, but there was a good chance it would have a detrimental property.
Yeah.
Sure.
Surprise detriment.
And we were already
So like
sort of.
they might be able to make a cloak of protection, for example, but it might make you smell like rotten eggs.
Press a dissertation like constantly.
It might not work. Magic, man.
It might not work. You're right. That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, that certainly you have time to explore that now. The world has been saved, sort of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for now.
For now, I know.
As far as
until
we know.
campaign 2.
Yeah.
Until Nereus starts challenging the gods, and then they're going to take their wrath
that
out on the little
campaign two?
people.
The Legend of Nereus. He just angers the gods, and they're like, "All right, you're gonna destroy the world now."
I feel like Olive at some point abandoned the whole cat companion thing. That for like
Mhm.
back at the beginning, she was heavily leaning into that, and then she was kind of like, "You mean I can be an elemental now? Fuck this cat thing."
Yeah.
I never made it to elementals. That was pretty neat to see.
So Spoot or Matt, was there anything you would have changed about like Spoot design or experience from Mike's question?
Well, there's a lot I would change in each
That's
battle. I feel
cleric.
like I was. I feel like I was pretty poor at battle planning, so I always left battles going like, "Nah." I was
You were
kinda-
clutch way more often than you give yourself credit for.
You
You
seriously
took
were,
so
man.
many killing
Yeah.
blows.
I was gonna say you
Yeah.
killed so many things.
I'm
That's
not.
cleric.
I was about to say, I'm not sure. I mean, I could be proud of that. I'm not sure Spoot should be. Proud of that. In fact, I don't think he wants to ever talk about it. If there's everything he needs therapy for, it's the number of lives he's taken. But that'll be something that comes up in a one shot, I guess.
I will say, like, agree with Jared. Boot came in clutch many, many times. I will, as someone who had to pilot Spoot a fair amount of times, you do like to prepare the wrong utility spells for the day.
But how is one to know?
It is hard to know what you're going to need.
How do you know it's wrong until
Well, when
you've been like,
for-
oh, well, that,
in Jared's combat and you didn't prepare mass cure wounds, there's
I think that happened once, and it was legit. Like I just didn't click it, and I thought I had because that stayed in. As soon as I got it, that should have stayed in the rotation. Like it was like maybe I dropped Healing Word, especially around the time I got Pulse.
I
'cause
just
I think at that point I had.
I just remember a lot of times going through your list at the end of a long rest. I'm just like, he didn't even use any of this.
I mean, conversely, at some point I got Olive back from you, and you had unprepared Revivify, and like everyone was dead.
Yeah,
Oops.
that was
Fair.
a mistake.
I will say I was
There were-
I was surprised at how little you ended up using Pulse. I figured it would be used much more frequently.
Well, and I think it was one of those I was always afraid to be like, oh, I could just use Healing Word, pew pew pew. But then what if I need all 5 and I've used 1 already? You know, and I always held on to it, being like, I'll just use it all at the end, and then it didn't matter.
Just in case, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that happened too much. It was the sort of like hoarding the health potion problem.
Now, when I play support, I generally tend to hoard my spell slots, whereas Nereus just kind of like,
Yeah, and I always
Eat
had
for
several
breakfast.
that I was like, oh, this would be really cool, and you never know.
Nereus
and it
also
was
has a
never-
mechanic to get spell slots back.
which is
at
pretty
the
nice.
cost of a lot of stuff, yeah. But I also can't unprepare and prepare new things every day. I can only choose between levels and be like, I hope
Not gonna
this
lie.
will work for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I just did the same. I was like, there's no point in like the things that what I use is what I use, and they always need to be in there, and like the rest doesn't matter. It's not going to come into play, and it didn't. There are so many spells I never used because maybe there were some times that I could have, in hindsight, but it was usually like, I might have thought about it, and then by the time my turn came around, I was like, "Oh, that plan's stupid."
Oh, that's why I'm so excited for next campaign. I don't want 10-minute turns anymore. Those were so exhausting. Because I would have a plan, and then one person would go before me and be like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
There were a lot of spells he
Welcome
had
to
too, that
D&D.
were-
Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know that that's actually going to fix anything.
Yes, it will.
guess,
I
like-
hit things with my sword.
Having played a fighter, sometimes
Yeah.
yes, I hit it with my sword, but then there's other times like, oh, now I can do this cool thing. So
Yeah, I know, but
Or
I'm not going to
twice.
have to be worrying about, oh shit, I'll hit this person with this AoE. Oh fuck,
True.
this person
That
just
is-
moved outside of the AoE.
That is why the cleric's AoE stuff is not immediately bombastic. It's so nice though, because you can be like, and anyone you don't want to hurt, you don't hurt. The end.
Yeah. Spell shaping, spell
Yeah.
sculpting, or
But I
whatever.
will
too.
say, I probably would have used more if we had had time to do more planning. There are spells that I could have like used as like, oh, if we set a trap or kind of thing, or they're more. I was a little skittish on using the like talk to your god spells that are part of my subclass that I probably underused. So there's a little bit of the like knowledge clericy part that I probably didn't. Kind of like Amber said, I didn't like really. I'm not sure I represented a knowledge cleric as strongly. But as far as Spoot's journey, I really didn't know what it was going to be, and I think it sort of fell into place. I actually am I'm pretty happy, I think, with where he went and the decisions as a character that I learned to make for him, if that makes sense. The end. I'm finally done.
well,
Speed
that
and Matt, both long-winded.
that gives us Tanner.
Nereus did some tanking, Nereus did blowing things up. I don't know.
What Nereus was, I mean, do you feel comfortable answering this question? Nereus was a result of like Adis. You thought you had finished with Adis, and you.
He just said, since, I talked to Jared and like we found Kalen and like got him much sooner than anticipated, so it's kind of like at that point there's a lot to lose, even more so, and it's kind of like, when that's one of the few things you have left of your past and stuff like that, why would you keep going? Whereas like, well, Nereus had a whole family, he had something that pushed him to go.
And I will say, crafting Nereus's family was very fun.
Yes.
Here's a sort of story
Oh, don't
question,
worry,
but
there's
also a
more
question.
side characters coming.
Yes, I love the family.
A question for Tanner. So, like, when you picked up Nereus, I always am curious about this, about any character that has to come in the middle of a campaign, because it's obvious that hey, I'm a player, I have a new character. This character has to join this campaign because that's what I'm here to do. But, like, how did you help justify, like, or maybe what were the conversations you had with Jared that I didn't know about? Because Spook basically found you and was like, my God put you here, so I trust you. What was your reason to be like, there's this weird sombrero wearing turtle that
Guess I'll
has
follow
been on
him.
some journey, and he has some like weird wild thing that he says is going to happen to the world?
I mean, part of the thing with Azamars is they have a celestial guide. And can
Which
more
was
or
my
less.
God, obviously.
Oh, yes, not anybody who could have parented him or part of that realm of magic. But more or less, like, they get guides that, can sometimes give them visions or point them in a direction. They don't really, like, force you or anything, but, when you're having visions of something to come, and it's, like, kind of pushing you towards it, that's more or less how he came in.
So what were the visions, if you don't mind sharing? I know you well enough to know now that they were actual like described vivid visions and not just some like that
You
Yeah.
wrote
for
this
me,
shit
I've been like,
down.
I had visions.
Yeah.
Where were they? I don't know. They were visions though.
Yeah.
Aside from like the giant tentacles eating people into the sky, there was it was like a shadows of, or like the outline silhouettes of people kind of like standing, I think on like some sort of precipice with a huge unnatural looking storm in the distance.
Oh wait, some of these did occur while you were with the party, I guess, not
Yeah.
before, huh?
I
Um,
believe
who
he
was-
explained it to you at some point.
I assumed you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds
Nereus,
familiar.
because of his backstory that Tanner created for him and the choices he made for the character when building him, necessitated that Nereus is essentially split between being an Aasimar, his celestial heritage, but also is marked by something else.
Let's say who is Nereus's warlock patron? What was that about? That last ditch. Oh, by the way, now you're part warlock.
Jared offered. Well, so I took just because sorcerers are fucking squishy as shit. I took the Eldritch Adept feat, which gave me an invocation, which I took for Armor of Shadows. So those were his tattoos, which was just basically permanent mage armor. But it was portrayed as something was protecting him, some unknown. They just kind of like appeared there one day after a rainstorm.
Yeah, you all did learn that the tattoos were like the language of the far realm. So
Write that down, Greg. Another language to learn.
Yes. One of each, please.
Jared,
Hey,
did
I have a
say
science
that
question.
We would have not gotten that any sort of rest or anything before the final battle had I not taken the warlock.
it's true.
'Cause I was
That's
sitting
true.
on it. I was sitting on it. I almost didn't take it.
Yeah, and it was only because of the situations that had occurred in the game and the choices that Nereus had made where he received the option. Something reached out to him and offered him a little bit more power. And in a very like loving and like supportive way, which was not necessarily the relationship you ever had with your sire.
Dad.
Anytime
Yeah, your
someone
dad.
uses sire as father, that's such a. Sorry,
I
my dad's
know.
not
I agree.
Just
I know.
I
like-
mean, but it's on
Papa.
purpose in that context.
Yeah.
That's how gods work.
fair.
Actually,
So-
I will say I wish I did use his innate Aasimar ability, the one that like lets you fly and deal more radiant damage more. However,
Yeah, radiant.
it being a whole action when I could do so much more with an action, especially every turn counts in Jared's combat. I cannot take a turn off just to sit there and be
That's
like,
true.
power up.
Yeah.
That's why I
yeah.
was floored that the dim blue light that my staff emitted was an action. That's why I asked about it. And when you were like, yeah, it's an action, I'm like, oh, he must be trying to tell me something. This must do something to the final boss. No.
No, it just glows blue.
It's just a
this-
large
It's a light source.
blue
It's
glow.
basically a
It's-
knockoff of the
it's-
light cantrip.
I mean,
Just
I
a
guess the
flashlight.
light cantrip is also an action, but like, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this thing must be powerful. I've been sleeping on it the whole time because I never used it because it's an action.
No, it's just a blue light.
I have dark vision.
Well,
Most of us
mine-
do.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah.
a screwdriver.
Most of you
I
had
had a screwdriver, yeah.
some means of dark vision, whether it
It's
was
gonna
a
take a
circlet or
We
a
definitely
screwdriver.
had like, yeah, we had like plenty of artificer type things and or natural abilities.
Nereus also
Oh,
had
and
a light cantrip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nereus Nereus was reached out to. He had been marked at an early age by this entity anyway. That's where the Eldritch Adept feat came from. So that's why his tattoos were deep speech, as was revealed when you were at Merilot's Three Spires back in Winton, and Ploxablob tried to like talk to you in it.
Yeah, whatever happened to Ploxablob?
Sorry, Ploxomag. Ploxomag is fulfilling a service contract to Merilot.
But does he feel fulfilled?
He will once it's up. It
Hey, I have a
is.
science question.
Yeah.
So remember in 2021 when
Sure.
when I took a piece of each head of this chimera that we killed and some flesh, and I had Spook cast Gentle Repose on it before I like took chunks. So I wanted to see if they decayed. And I've been hanging on to them this whole time. Did they decay?
Oh yeah.
Or did Gentle Repose work?
Gentle Repose worked for the duration of Gentle Repose, which I think is only like 10 days.
Yeah.
Darn.
it's not
So I've got
bad.
jars full of goo.
Yeah, you've got like
Yeah.
gross monstrosity
Sweet.
goo.
Slime.
You know, that's fine.
Campaign,
You did
refrigerated bag of holding.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
how many of us are
You did
carrying
inspire
around
me-
something that we've been carrying around for this entire campaign that's decaying? Because I know Olive is also carrying around a chunk of the poka Ron.
Yeah, that is horrible.
Does the
Y'all-
scale, though, does the chimera scale? Because that's what I took. I took a scale, a fang, beard hair, and a piece of flesh.
The fang is fine. The scale is probably also fine.
Okay.
The hair has curled and withered away and turned to dust, probably, or is en route. I don't know how long hair lasts after you pluck it. But the flesh is
Forever.
goo.
Yeah,
All right.
It has
This has inspired me to
decomposed.
look at my inventory to see if I had any weird shit. I should probably give the key to the Osmag Secret Library to Nereus if he's taking the expedition there.
Yeah.
And I definitely should have used the Crown of Concentration more. Whoops.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
else
Olive's
do I
carrying
have
around
that
a
might be
piece of the
weird?
poka Ron, and apparently a chocolate truffle she picked up somewhere. Oh, and the ridiculous piece of taxidermy.
Ah, yes. Which
Oh, no,
that was
I've still got it.
you rolled really low and that dude rolled really high and he sold you some bullshit.
That was
I love it.
hilarious. What was
Like,
it, like
no,
a
it's
wickadoo
interesting.
or something? What was the name of the
Yeah,
creature?
it was like the front of a fish and the back of a chicken and something else. And there was something else.
Was
in
that
Behind-
chickadoo or
behind
something like
legs.
that?
A snake
Yeah.
body and the bobcat front legs.
That's right.
Bob.
The
It was a
chickabob.
chickabob.
Chickabob!
I have the
Chickabob.
description in my inventory,
Yeah, that's right. The
and Olive
chickabob.
tried really hard to turn into one
Oh.
and just failed.
Yeah. It would never have worked.
I haven't.
No,
It would never have worked.
but she
Is
didn't
the
know that.
chickabob like? I want it to become like a legend, like when people take people snipe hunting, which snipes are actually real birds.
I
but-
mean, I have a feeling that after Olive has been carrying it around, it probably does become a bit of like folklore. Like people see it on
The
this famous
legend of
adventure,
the
they're like, "That is the
chickabob."
strange thing she did."
Oh
this
man, that must be
chickabob."
real.
But she's. been on
So
these
I think
adventures,
you
she
all
must
have
seen this.
introduced the widespread first cryptid on Johanna
Yes.
by the chickabob.
Chickabob.
Heck
I
yeah.
want to see how this plays out in campaign 2.
Yeah,
It's a new deity.
run into some statues of the
I hope
chickabob.
it doesn't go that far.
Like
Spook
the
might have to
spaghetti
intervene at this
monster.
point.
Some
Nope,
iconography.
Stand down, Spook.
I've still got a got it tonic, and the description says drink it while you've got it. Well, I didn't. I'm sorry. Apparently, I still have it.
Yeah.
I will make that the first order of business the next time we need some healing is to drink that and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's what the. I think
have
that
a
what
piece
chocolate
of-
truffle is something like that too.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Carrying
I have
around a
a
random
piece
piece
of
of
an ice-
candy.
Piece of ice creature thing. Do we think that's melted?
Oh shit, those gateways. Yeah.
We have. My description was we really have no idea what it was, but this is part of it. And it might be ice.
And
It's
it
cold.
might be ice.
It might be ice.
That's right, because it came
Is it
in
ice,
through
Jared?
that gate.
It was not ice. It was very, very, very cold flesh that felt like ice. So eventually it warmed up and got gross.
Oh, and I didn't have a container to put it in. Like
It's just
It
it's
just
just gooing all
oozed.
over your.
it
Which
oozed
that
through my netting
was the
on my
result
shelf.
of a fun mechanic, which also Tanner kind of originated back with Adis, because Adis was it's called a dragon mark in D&D, which it wasn't exactly that in this campaign, but it more or less was just a mark of that very few from Adis's village had. And so when he interacted with certain things that over the last 1,000 years had gotten corrupted and fucked up and broken, there was a chance something could happen. And more often than not, it did.
Yep.
Whatever happened
Can
to
we go on an adventure and open more portals?
let's say the people that came through the portal? Whatever happened to the people who came through the portal?
Oh yeah, those
Oh,
two
The ice
guys.
ones.
Yeah.
Well,
We shall see.
Yeah, you gonna reserve the right on this one? Yeah, bastard.
Defect and Spoot did meet up with one of them again.
We
That's
did.
right.
I remember that, but we did not engage. That's
Yeah.
what I remember.
Yeah, you chose not to deal with him.
Yeah, I don't think we had time. I think we really had to be like, we don't have time because we have to do something else. I can't remember what the other thing was, but I'm pretty
I
sure
think
we
it was
considered
fear.
it more.
I think the other thing was fear. Like we were afraid that these guys were super
Nah, we
overpowered.
had just saved the world, probably.
Hey, y'all unleashed a couple of darklings upon this poor, besodden world. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, we should track those down. I'm gonna add that to Spoot's list of like things to clean up in the after.
Yeah, you'll have.
I will say this.
I'll be the motivation.
I will say this. Spoot will never find them.
Uh-oh.
What a low blow.
I-
Did they get home?
That I won't say.
Is Nereus secretly one of them?
How did you know?
Oh, we should have known because Adis was the one that. Oh, I see Easter egg.
I will say
I'm
that
just gonna start saying that.
Nereus's story did intersect with theirs.
Oh,
What do you have to share, Nereus?
did it?
Did one
It
of them
sounds
have
like Tanner
tentacles?
doesn't know.
From your
Listen, a lot of shit's happened over the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Come on.
you may remember that one of the things you learned while you were back home in Laurentian was that there was a certain merchant who was robbed
Oh yeah.
of a very
I
fine
Remember
brooch.
that. We tried to investigate that, didn't we?
Yeah,
You-
but the gray skin fellow, and it was like a while ago, so they were probably like long gone.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
expressed
that's
interest in
right.
it, but you never followed up on it.
Well, probably because we didn't have time. The moons were aligning or something like that.
I mean, don't you still have a sanctuary or something in Laurentian, don't you, Spoot?
Well, there is the one other follower. I only found one other follower in the whole of Nuuli.
That's not true.
Of the Horizon Walker.
You found
That's
two.
not true. You're right. But there was that one guy. Found two, but there was that one guy in that one place, and that's where I made my restore point. If I ever had to use that get out of jail free spell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I knew
word
he
of
was there.
recall. Yeah.
Now you can go see Nearest's family and be like, has he been back yet?
I need
No.
to give him this key. I'm pretty sure he needs this.
I do. I want to visit the kid again. Blow some more stuff up.
Have you seen him? I've
We
got his
should-
keys.
I mean, so Greg and Spook can make that part of their journey. So I mean, obviously we have important shit to do, but we can go check on people's families and see the kids, see my family, see me's. I don't know. We're like
Yeah.
pretty ambitious in how we're gonna.
Knees
travel.
is always important.
Yeah. Nereus, there was a lot in Laurentian that you guys could have pursued, but didn't for whatever reason. Nereus
We had to rush.
Tanner created a very interesting story, which I built upon. So there was quite a lot going on in Laurentian.
There's quite a lot
But it was
going
a
on in general.
city.
There was.
I mean, I wanted to follow up on that cult too, but we
Yeah.
had shit we got to do, and we were
Yeah.
We really did. It was like the
just
time.
on time.
Well,
clock was
maybe
ticking.
some of these things will roll over into later campaigns. Who's to say?
Dun, dun,
You
dun.
know what it actually reminded me of a little bit, Jared? It's kind of like when you play Massive. This is, I think, the first example of me learning what consequences in video games could be. Mass Effect 3. You're like
Yes. Yeah.
Not
presented.
the first one, where people
I
also
feel like
died.
I feel like I did okay in the first one without really even knowing it, and I feel like
Oh,
maybe in
okay.
the no, it's the second one. The second one, sorry, the second one. I was like, I have all these side quests to do. I'm gonna wait to do the last mission and do all these other side quests, and then I did the last mission, and someone died because I waited, and I was like,
It happened to me
Oh.
too.
the surprise Pikachu face. I was like,
Meh.
and I feel like that was Jared at the end of our campaign. He's like, you could do anything you want.
Oh, I did a bad playthrough of
Shit's
Mass
gonna
Effect.
keep
I was
happening.
like, all my friends are dead.
I will
Crazy thing
say,
is that shit
it wasn't until you gathered a certain number of items, of the shard touched items, when the countdown really began in earnest. Because it was mechanically linked to that. Because essentially, whichever ones you chose to go after, there were other ones that the Shade Reachers knew about that they tried to go after.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, and there were some that we failed to get that they beat us to, which was kind of
Right.
Yes.
infuriating. But
But we got him
do you
now,
wanna
suckers.
do you
Yeah.
do you want to share at what point? What do you remember the shard that started the countdown?
Do I remember the what?
Which item started the
Shard.
countdown?
Yeah.
Or what was the?
Oh, when you went to once you got Requiem, because that was the 7th one. Once you got that, the countdown started.
7th?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So next time, ignore the main quest and do all side quests first.
Yep.
It won't,
then we
it won't
see.
necessarily be
If
true
anything,
in
numbers-
perpetuity, but in this case, like once you got the last one, you had 7, and then they had 7.
Right.
Which
How
is
many
being a
shard-
symbolic number of
How many shard
7.
things did we
There were only
have?
7.
Seven.
At least 7.
You had 6 or 7, because one of them you gave back to Fluxus to have him tinker with, the gauntlet.
Right. And then the bugbear ran off with it.
After through his tinkering, it exploded. Yeah, or not exploded, but it released a
Interesting side,
wave of energy that caused an explosion.
Right.
which killed Flexus,
Which did
We
kill
killed him.
Fluxus.
and we failed to.
Yep.
That
which we failed
that
to kill.
poor changeling wizard.
The only one in the
We've
world.
got his ring now.
R.I.P. We'll name
You
it.
do have his ring, which you never actually identified during the game.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Can we do it?
I'm
right
hanging
now?
out with Spook.
Yeah,
We'll find out, and it'll
I'll
be
tell
mine.
you what it is.
Can I take a 10 right now? Everyone stop.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop over.
So it's called Variety.
Variety.
Variety. It's
Like a
got
magazine.
Is it a spice?
Of life.
yes.
Hey.
So it's got a yellow chip of the yellow gem, the yellow shard in it, the sway shard. So at base level, while you're attuned, you gain access to Druidcraft cantrip and may cast the Alter Self spell from this ring once per long rest without material components or use of a spell slot. And it has an ability called Spice of Life.
Hey.
After completing a long rest, you may choose to alter one minor physical characteristic about yourself. This can include hairstyle, hair color, eye color, ear shape, skin tone, etc., but cannot be used to gain an additional appendage, such as a wing or a tail, nor can you alter your physiology like gills or claws. These alterations remain until you use this feature again, in which case the first alteration returns to its original state. Breaking the attunement to this item removes any alterations. And then it got
So what you're
progressively more
saying
power.
is that we could have been Tonks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have tonked it up.
Or Tonk.
But no tails. I mean,
No tails, but pink hair, big nose.
I mean, tails. Let's be honest. Tails not important. No one needs them. Right, Mike?
That's true. Useless.
but wait, if Spoot does
Tailless
Spoot
is the
already
way to
have a
live.
tail? Could he change his tail? Like, could Spoot be a turtle with
Actually,
like a
I
dog
guess in
tail?
theory, Spoot does have like a little tail.
Awkward.
That did get a little awkward and uncomfortable for some reason. I don't know why.
Awkward turtle tail. It's like this.
What's
Don't
the
worry, he
deal
wears
with the
pants.
dagger in defect? He doesn't wear pants. Don't lie.
Defect's
He has
dagger
arms and
is a
bacon.
simple, mundane dagger. It has no special abilities. It's just
But
fashioned in a
why
style.
was it? Why?
Why what?
Blockadius, what's the deal with the dagger? Give me more fanfic.
It was a
It
trinket
was like
he rolled
in a
from his.
heart pocket.
It was his background item, like, because he got like a dagger.
Yeah,
as
but
part
that's
of
not fair. You should
Oh.
cut
Sure,
this, like
fine.
my background
But-
item became a plot point.
I want
so we should-
some Blockadius fanfic.
Yeah, in my fanfic, there is a family crypt
Ooh.
in which there is a
A crypt
key
for-
of which.
Automaton?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's in my fanfic. All right, read
Uh-huh.
it.
I love this. I'm sorry. I'm on board. I'm on board.
Of which the
Can I
dagger.
get copies at Barnes and Noble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will send you guys the free copies.
Cool.
Of which the dagger is the only key that opens it.
Ooh.
So you insert the dagger, and like this crypt door opens up, leads down to an ancient upside down pyramid, of
Ooh.
which you have to go through several dungeons to get to the very bottom.
Like a funnel.
Yes, like a funnel. You just keep going around in circles. It's a metaphor, really, for life. And
So in the
at,
side campaign,
yep.
when you call in the misfits, this is the first dungeon we hit.
No. When I call in the misfits, it's to find my axe, and then we go back
Oh.
to the Defects Island to explore
To piss
the
Umbradius off.
upside down,
The crypt of
the crypt of Defect.
Sorry, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I'm just making that up on the fly, but I like where it's going already. So
I was gonna
There you go.
ask. I was gonna ask, how much of that did you have prepared, and you were like, I hope someone asked me about the dagger, and how much of that was just on the cuff?
Oh, the dagger I had nothing on. Like I just made
Improv
that up.
master
man.
over there.
Yeah.
Stink.
It's now canon, right, Jared?
It is.
Absolutely.
It is canon to Mike's fanfic of Defect, which you can find on his blog spot. But it is not. But it is not canon to Nuuli.
Do you have a,
The
a
Legend
WordPress
of
site?
Defect.
So
Need the
amused.
Legend of Defect to be canon. The end. Oh, I was gonna ask about.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to trudge up stuff to ask about now. So like,
Yeah, like
what
if you had questions
whatever
about like
happened?
Nuuli in general or
Didn't-
clarification on something, like those are all valid questions. Or like,
Should we care about what happened to the Veil Piercer? What's their deal? Anything you can share about that in the grand scheme
Yeah.
of the world?
yeah, she is a very powerful Fey entity, seer, hag, maybe. She likes to keep things a little mysterious. It adds to her street cred. But she's
Gotta have that cred.
Yeah.
she's been around a long time.
Where
And
did she find the Valley
Does-
Girl?
Oh, yeah,
Well-
the skull.
Nuuli is not the first place she's visited.
I
Is
figure.
Defect gonna
Nor-
discover the
nor
Veil
will it be
Piercer
the
on
last.
Defect Island?
Well, Defect Island, as we're calling it, is on Nuuli somewhere.
Oh,
Oh, I see. I see.
Like there's your hint. It's somewhere on the planet.
all right, guys. We got a little sleuthing to do with no map, no books.
No map,
Yeah,
no
I mean,
books,
I'm
and no
down.
clues.
Let's roll.
Okay. So, should we think anything of our card readings? I mean, does any of those come true? Do we live out the day to see them come true, or did we
Yeah, I
change
took
our
some-
destiny already?
I took some very confusing notes about 7 strands of hair.
Oh yeah, I
That's all
forget.
you have remaining. Olive ends up with 7 strands of hair from her chin.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Both them long and proud, Olive.
So you are all everyone who had a reading. There is something that occurred when you had the readings that does allow the Veil Piercer to just kind of keep tabs on you if she wants.
I did
She
give her.
put, she put an
my
air
She
tag in each of us.
entertained. She entertained.
Are you not entertained?
That's what I'm thinking. She showed up right before the final fight, and if she put the air tag on us before that, then she knew to be there. So I'm just saying. Was she watching it on
She
pay-per-view?
anticipated that
what
I
did
would
she
be
think?
sad and lonely. I am not. Okay, I picked
Yes, you're the opposite.
a friend over infinite power and knowledge. So,
It's like the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2.
bitch had no
That's how they
idea.
defeat knows.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Indeed. So, like, a lot of you were able to, like, change your fate, sort of. But she never claimed to give you the future, just possibility.
Possibility.
And the most likely one she saw for when she read you at that time. I will also say, she has an interest in anyone who is powerful, potentially long-lived. Yeah. She's mysterious, and nobody really knows why.
Does this translate into I reserve the right, or does this translate into
I know why she does what she does, but I'm not going to tell you because she's fun and may appear later. It is possible for you to like figure out eventually what she does.
Okay.
But yeah,
How's
no,
how's
like she let's see, how much do I want to tell you? You know that gold and riches hold little interest to her. Like, she didn't ask for like cash payment,
Right.
but there were items that some of you gave her. There were favors that some of you offered her that she may collect upon at some point. Yeah.
wait? Some of us offered favors in return. ...
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're probably all gonna die anyway. I'll just give
Yeah.
this weird bitch a favor.
She
Yep.
took my blood.
Creepy lady, that's right.
She absolutely took
If
Nereus'
it was
blood.
anybody, it was Nereus. Nereus is like owing favors left and right. Speaking of favors, how's Nereus' girlfriend doing? Pirate Queen.
Oh yeah.
Nereus has high charisma. I think we can all tell where his wisdom is, though, from his saving throws.
Yes.
So, yeah, Spark Yarrow is essentially if Captain Jack Sparrow was a savvy businesswoman.
Savvy.
Yeah.
I
Olive
like
did
her.
not
She
like
needs to
her.
come back.
she's great. She was fantastic.
Olive hated her so much.
That's
I
fine.
just liked hearing what she was wearing every evening.
Oh yeah, no. A constant that she always wears is these long gloves in different colors, styles, whatever, but she always has these long, like, finger to above elbow gloves.
What's wrong with her hands?
She's got years of scars from pirate battles.
Magic hands.
So she hides them. Like that, it's that simple.
She's
Good.
actually rogue in disguise.
That's not what I was just thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah. She drains your memories, your life force.
Yep.
I will say
Memories too?
well, Rogue does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue gets
That's a
powers
part I forgot
and
about.
memories and abilities from mutants. And from regular people, she gets memories and
Kills them.
life force, potentially killing them. But yeah. That's what happened to her first boyfriend
Oh,
on
no
her
wonder
first
they didn't
kiss.
like
Yes.
Poor Anna Marie. Anyway, Spark Yarrow. Spark Yarrow was a very profitable, very successful pirate queen. She pretty much got run out of Laurenton and was threatened that if anyone ever found her, like every captain in Laurenton, and even a few from ports beyond, pretty much were like, you need to stop this bullshit. If we ever find you again, we're all coming against you. And so she retired and built or acquired the Black Pearl and built up there with her four most capable crewmen who were willing to, or crew people who were willing to hang out. Or three most.
Was one of them an elven archer?
No. You met them all. You know, there was
Yeah.
Yeah, they
pretty
stood
cool
at the
characters.
they stood at
Cool
the
cat.
door and shit.
well, Nick stood at the door.
You know, like they do.
Was
It's
it
probably
always
part
the
of
same
their
guy
job
at the door? I
description,
thought it was
probably.
different guys at the door.
No, it was always the chubby tiefling at the door. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there was Classy Nick, who was the kind of rotund tiefling bouncer at the door.
Right.
There was the halfling bartender, Pastel Salt Spray. And then there was the half-orc assistant, Balthazar.
Balthazar.
They were the three who Spark Yarrow had been like, hey, you three, come do this process with me. And they opted to follow their captain instead of returning to the sea or doing anything else. Yeah. Classy Nick was not a big talker. He was a very tall, rotund tiefling. So he didn't say much. Pastel was quite a chatty person. They were a very good bartender because they always kind of overheard what people wanted.
Sure.
And Balthazar was a very efficient assistant.
I'm sorry. I'm reading over 4 years of notes here, seeing if anything pops out to ask
Yeah.
a question about.
I know.
And reading back over my notes. Oh, I'm such a comedian. So I way back when, remember when we had that competition where the vampire guy that we eventually killed?
Yeah, Olive herded sheep.
I've got in my notes. Day of competition. We see 3 tall humanoids and one that is small, in tight clothing with a headband. ... It's photo. And then later, I say, blah blah blah. We then travel to dinner with the count. He introduces blah blah blah. There sits Photo with 2 guards and a woman in robes. The next line is, guess what? ... Photo traps us and we fight. Anyway, we know what happens to Bodo. We know what happens to the vampire guy we killed. What I have a note about that I don't know if I remember is I have a
He's
note
not
about the
dead.
illuminated mind.
We
You have a note about the what?
Illuminated mind, and this may have been explained in the game,
Yeah.
but it caused me to think. So I guess my big question is there anything about the like lore of the Ibn Shade and the shards that we didn't get to in the campaign that you would like to expound upon? So I know Spoot was trying to uncover as much as he could, but I mean he was piloted by me.
Yeah, so Spoot got a lot of it. I will say the illuminated mind is the god of magic that exists on Nuuli. They were the one who crafted the Arcanum Progeneris, which was in Sunday.
Yes.
Aha.
Okay.
It's all their fault.
Yeah, to craft it, they made this perfect diamond, gem, whatever, and funneled their essence into it, which was then the source of arcane magic. And once it was like going, it just output arcane magic. And once it was there, those who studied or were born in certain circumstances were able to do arcane magic. So they created it from divine magic, which is like a weird, like, it's like when you put salt in water, you create salt water, but you can never pull the salt out of it again.
Right.
But it is chemically and perpetually different from that point on. So it was very much that.
I'm here.
Great.
Okay.
So now, since they crafted this, the illuminated mind has not been like corporeally seen. So like, there's a slew of people who don't think that the illuminated mind even exists anymore, and there's also some people who are still followers of them and still count them as a deity. So whatever.
This is what okay, so this might go into a list of things Spoot tries to learn about.
Yeah, but as far as the Ibn Shade goes, you got the big clues. I don't know if you ever put them all together in order, but essentially the Ibn, which was the group of mages that existed all over Nuuli, 1,000 years ago, stole or secreted away the various shards, like put replacements in their place, like tricked people, and essentially acquired them, brought them all together on Lorjan, which is the continent that Nuuli has replaced, and attempted to conduct a ritual. You don't know what for. That information is lost to time. But it didn't go correctly, and there was big explosion. The Ibn were essentially wiped out because all the most powerful members were there, and a lot of the others died in the ensuing spell storms over the next 1,000 years. But the library, the ruined library that Spoot discovered on his solo trek, was where a large number of those souls, whether through like magical means that had prepared themselves it wasn't quite lichdom, but like some of them had like taken precautions and had backups, and some of them got corrupted, and so they became just like mental energy, and eventually over that 1,000 years they were able to like pull themselves together. And like in the journal, like one of the first things is like, in multiple different like handwritings, it's like, we've figured out how to manipulate objects. We've got this. And like,
I remember finding those, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like many different handwriting styles, because as different minds would take control originally, they'd have the ability to do stuff. And then eventually a wandering minstrel type wandered into the library, like looking for whatever he might find, and was possessed by them. And there was an entry. There was an entry in that journal that Spoot also found about. We've got a corporeal form now. We've got a body, and we're gonna go out and do things, because they couldn't really leave without a corporeal body.
Yeah.
They were bound to that
Some-
place until they had a way to get out, and they had to sneak out through somebody else. So once they got out, they could be in or out of a body, but they were stronger in a body because they could cast more magic. There were a lot of abilities that neither the Ibn Shade nor the Ibn Shadow got to use in your combats because of circumstances. Like,
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
like the Ibn Shade full on had Circle of Death, and was
No, thank you.
totally going to use it on you. And then Greg knocked them out of the center of the circle, which is where they wanted to be.
Touch.
Which was the most insane fucking thing I ever saw. In
That was
D&D.
Yeah.
amazing.
I when we
Just
talk about
shove.
like most memorable campaign start, this will always go down as like the and then the artificer was like, I want to stand in the middle
Gonna push you.
and beat them to a sumo wrestling contest, like, and then
Right.
and then
And to use the immovable rod too.
Thank you,
Yeah.
dice.
Which
Yeah.
Yeah.
said, I'm gonna stick this in my pants.
And then because
And,
Greg was standing there, Greg
Dramatic.
got that second counterspell reaction,
Yeah.
which meant that like
And the fact that anytime they went down, they just came back.
They
Like,
came back up again.
yeah, which would have been true for the Ibn Shade as well. Like if you had knocked it down in the center, it would have stood back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been really annoying.
Yeah. But like, so because you
And
gained
this-
that third counterspell every time it tried to, because it had resolved that it was going to use telekinesis to grab Greg and move them, because like there was like it was pretty sure that like Grig's belt would give before the rod would, or maybe it would just like kill Grig in the process, which it wasn't worried about, just to get back into the location. If no one had been standing in the center of that ritual, things would have happened a little differently. But because someone was there to be there at the apex, cool things happened for you all.
did you expect that possibility at all?
No.
But you kept pushing
So,
us toward like
what you're
doing
tell-
something about being not in the middle. What do you?
All I was telling you was the Ibn Shade wants to be in the middle.
Yeah.
I never expected you to like stay in the middle. I figured you'd like try to keep pushing it out, and it would like try to have to go back there. I never thought you'd like stake yourself
That
down
was-
with an immovable rod.
So what
Well-
you're telling me is because we almost died, even with Grig in the middle, that what you expected was us to all die.
I really thought you were all going to die. Yeah.
I really. thought
Well,
we were-
let me
Alright.
rephrase that. I didn't think you were all going to die. I knew
No.
that all of you dying was a
You
distinct
knew we were gonna
possibility.
die.
No.
You're all going to die again.
Possibility number one.
It was very possible that you all trounced the Ibn Shade. Like
I
as
don't
you
know
as
if
as you
it
learned,
was possible.
as you learned, it was vulnerable to shard touched items specifically.
Yes.
So when you used those items on it in some capacity, it hurt. It took the damage. It didn't regenerate, and it took twice the damage. Like it took twice the damage every time Spoot hit it. And when Defect used his girdle ability, it took twice that much damage as well. Not from the sword, but from the girdle.
Right.
If
we had figured that out earlier.
If you had figured it out earlier and Defect hadn't spent all of his time fighting
oh my god,
the warlocks.
Oh my god, warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. But like, Defected.
Yeah, I
play
took all these
himself
notes
short,
about shard tip, and I could not figure out how to weaponize the stupid null amulet. I was like,
Yeah,
what do I do, throw it at him?
they weren't all like going to be necessarily useful, the ones that you acquired.
Yeah.
Because like the null amulet was, I think, the first one you got, if I remember correctly.
Maybe.
You got it
Yeah,
from
it's from the Poka. It's from the Poka-Ra.
Pokon Ra, yeah.
Yeah.
That because you opted, because like you guys were like, oh, we can go after this bow for Adis, or we can go after this other thing. Well, this other thing's on the way. Those were the same shard. They're both the null shard. So
Oh, that's right, the bow.
So
Yeah.
that's why the Shade Reachers were able to get to the bow before you guys were, because you diverted and went to the amulet.
Gotcha. But
Like-
hey, at least Nereus isn't feeble-minded anymore.
Yeah, no, that was clutch move.
I was like,
The lesson that we've all learned here is, when in doubt, just push people over.
yeah,
Yeah, push first, ask questions later.
just
Yeah.
shove.
Good. It's all, you know, we
Base-
should all really just be barbarians.
Oops, all barbarians. I haven't considered that one yet, actually. That would be great.
Oh, it'd be
Yeah.
totally great.
For
Every
now-
category of
All of our
barbarian.
names, they all have to rhyme with barbarian. We're just variations on that.
How are
we
we
just
doing
want
that?
normal names
What
ended with
rhymes with barbarian?
No, it'll
Aaron?
just be like Carl.
Aaron.
the Barbarian.
Caesarian.
Baron, Aaron the Barbarian.
No,
Karen.
you're thinking too hard. Just
Karen
like,
the Barbarian would
person's
be
name,
terrifying.
Aaron.
Yeah,
Karen
yeah,
would
yeah.
be
Aaron,
great.
Aaron.
Scrap
I want
everything
to
I
speak to your
thought
manager.
for the next campaign. I am now Karen the Barbarian.
Karen the Barbarian. Amazing.
Actually, that reminds me of
I'm ready to
a character I did. a
Actually,
while
that really
back.
works because Karen's enter rage. Give me your manager. That's how you
Yeah,
enter
right,
rage. It's just like, I want to talk to the
Yeah.
manager.
No, this reminds me of a barbarian I played for a 20th level like one-off thing. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to any Karens out there, but we
No,
didn't
I
name you.
You've become a
Yeah,
meme,
Yeah,
sorry.
you're all great.
But yeah, are there any
So
other
this
like
is 4 years ago.
questions about like the world or anything, the world or lore or anything like that? that you
Okay,
all have?
I've got one. You may reserve the right on this one, but I don't think you need to. If we had all died, would you like to share with us how that would have set the stage for campaign 2?
Ooh,
I-
good
Ooh.
question.
Had you all died against the Ibn Shade, the Ibn Shade,
Which, by the way, was so close to happening.
Yeah,
it was
Yep.
very possible.
Yeah.
The Ibn Shade would have used the ability granted to it to alter reality, to gain all the knowledge, all the arcane knowledge that existed, which would have given it spells that do not exist in Nuuli, which would have given it spells that have been forgotten, all this kind of stuff. It would also have understood all the lore about the shards, and it would have spent the next period of time practicing, refining, experimenting on people, places, changing the landscape, changing the way reality worked. Just really kind of going like full like ultra powered Frankenstein on the world until it felt itself completed here in Nuuli, and then it would have moved on to somewhere else to do something else, which would have meant that the Nuuli that we met in campaign 2 would have been much, much darker than it is set to be.
yeah, post-Ibn.
Lots of
This is exactly the world
half-breeds
that I.
and
If you
What was that?
lots of just like demonic
I
half-breeds
don't know.
and mishmashes of
There would absolutely have been like a lot more monstrosities unleashed upon the world, a lot more powerful creatures could have been created, a lot more areas like, you know, in this square foot of this town, nobody goes there because in that square foot, something really fucked up happens to you. Like, it would have been a lot more environmental hazards and a lot more mistrust in the populace in general.
man.
What-
Spoot has
what-
no idea what Grig gave up.
What would it have done to character magic users? Like, would it have altered?
Yeah, magic would be very different. We would have gone from like an average magic setting in campaign 2 to a very low magic campaign setting, because all the magic would have been drained and it would take a lot of time
Right.
to recharge.
The Ibn would claim it all.
no, that'd
Which
been
meant
wild.
that
You'd
like
have
if
had
you
to
were
be
which
like,
which
yeah,
would have meant that like if you were
working on-
playing a wizard, your cost for like spell stuff would be much higher than you thought it would be. It would be much more difficult. Like, you wouldn't find like spell books, and if you did,
Hmm.
they would be so expensive to buy.
Right.
And so difficult to get to work right. Like you'd have to spend time experimenting on them to get them to work for you. Like,
It really
you couldn't
would have
just
I
copy
been.
them.
my sword.
Yeah.
It really would have been oops, all barbarians, because we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We're all barbarian
Yeah.
animals that don't know magic,
Yeah.
just to hit hand things.
Yeah. So like it would have
So,
affected
I do think-
Nuuli in a lot of ways.
I do think on some abstract small level, Spoot does know maybe what Grig gave up.
Don't
I
deny
don't know
it.
if he 100% can understand, but I think he will always be like, something happened. This was the choice they made.
Yeah. I don't think
And
it's
I
out
think
of the realm of
I'm just gonna
possibility.
add this on.
Yeah.
Like Spoot will always be from henceforth, and has already been the most proud of Grig and their. I'm gonna take a time to just like talk about Grig and their story arc, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, I have to go because I got so much shit I gotta do.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still have to
Nereus was great
learn
too. I'll say that before
I-
Tanner
Is
leaves.
is there any last thing you want to know about?
I'm not good at this kind of stuff, so not really. I'm bad at questions.
Okay.
He's
You
all about
answered them all
backstory, he's
ahead
not
of
about
time.
future story.
Yeah.
For me, everything is heat of the moment. I'm not good at like preparing questions and stuff ahead of time.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So next time you guys see me, I'll also be in a different state. So
Whoa.
Woot!
Yay.
Does that mean we
Wish
won't be
you-
looking at
wish you
that
the
cabinet
best.
behind you?
what?
Will we have a big different backdrop? No
Yes.
cabinet with the
Are you moving
the
the cabinet?
half a
Is what
flag?
Sarah wants to know.
That cabinet is moving to the garbage.
Ah, but the flag is staying.
Yes. With the cabinet.
ah.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Good night, Tanner. Thank you.
Good night. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, buddy.
All the best. Anyway, so like I was saying, Grig is the story arc, the journey, the growth that Grig made was pretty incredible. Spoot will have already been very proud of Grig leading up to the final battle. And then I think we'll have this sort of like, I owe Grig an eternal debt that I can't speak of sort of feeling for the rest of his life.
Suck
So the fact that
eye.
Amber said that's Greg's like dream is to just keep traveling on the road with like Spoot and whoever wants to come along. I was like, done. That is the
Yeah.
the after story has been written.
Greg learned what was on the other side and said,
Yeah.
fuck, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, I think it is entirely plausible for Spoot to deduce that Grig gave up something big, but I don't think he'd ever know exactly what.
Greg ain't saying.
I think that's true, and I was reaching a bit. I was trying to like not stray into that again. I was reaching a bit with the insight check at the end, but like I was trying to have Spoot put two and two together that like I was not there, and then I was, and then it was over.
But Spoot would also know that Grig is capable of reviving people, so.
Spoot wasn't near me, and I know what revivify processes are like. Very, very familiar.
Yep. Yeah,
Something was
it
different.
was definitely a different feeling. Yep.
But someone did try to revivify you and failed.
It's true.
To be fair, that was the first time I had been resurrected. So maybe I'm just holding on to this dream, and maybe it's not real, and I will never know. But
You will never know.
Never know.
You'll never
But
know
I
the
know
positive
that
influence
Spoot
you had on this
hasn't-
tiny creature.
I know that Spoot never truly forgave themselves for letting Grig die in the first place. So the fact that it kind of came around in this way is
It's my
sort of-
fault. It's fine.
It's extra mushy.
Gross.
It was certainly
Anyway,
a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah. I think you all created fantastic characters. You played the game well. I will say I was sad to see Carolee die because I had a fun tie-in for Carolee that I don't mind sharing if you're interested.
Yeah, no, I totally do. Yeah, Carolee had like more backstory and more interesting things that just never happened.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
You know,
just way too
Dragon.
squishy.
one of
Little
Carolee's
dragon.
one of Carolee's things from her backstory, if you'll remember, Sarah, was that she didn't know who her biological father was.
Right, because she was born of ritual.
Yeah, and her mother was human.
Yeah, so there's a mystery elf out there somewhere.
Right, which, as you would learn throughout, it was like there were like no full-blood elves out wandering. I won't tell you exactly who your father was, but I will say you did meet Carolee's half-brother along the campaign.
Ooh.
Chatty.
Yep, you got it.
Chatty!
Chatty was Carolee's half-brother.
On the elf side or on the human side?
On the elf side.
On the chatty side.
Ooh.
On the chatty side. That's cute. I like that.
Yeah. And he didn't like know about Carolee necessarily.
Right.
But like as soon as I figured out who Carolee's father was and what he was, I knew that there was someone out there.
There were more out there.
And then when you went to the Verdenton Glen, it was like, here he is.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
So, but you're not telling us who Carolee's father was.
I won't tell you who he is. I will say
You
that
give me the book.
What he is?
I will say that the Verdentious Causeway utilized more than just magic to get information about the world.
Yeah, they would saddle people with books and have to have them talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Is it also
that's one
Nereus's
option.
father? Is that the twist?
No.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No, Nereus's father was Chalk. Like, that
Straight up.
was always true.
Yeah. Carolee's father was mortal. He was just a mystery elf.
Yeah.
Because she was born in some druidic ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Or was conceived in some kind of druidic ritual that, in my mind, was like vaguely was like vaguely like Morgan Le Fay kind of idea.
Right. Yeah. But never came about. But like, yeah, Chatty was Carolee's half brother. There's a.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I'm still reading through notes.
I'm about to say, in the meantime, as people are thinking of questions, is there anything else about Campaign 1's backstory you think we didn't get to that you would have liked to have shared? Because I'm sure as a DM, you must have side stories prepared and stuff.
There was more in like Nereus's backstory that we could have explored a little bit. There was certainly more in Adis's backstory, and in Griggs. We got a little bit into Griggs, but like there was still quite a bit to mine there, and Spoot and as well. We got, surprisingly for someone who didn't have a whole lot of backstory, we got a lot of defect backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was here for it.
It's true, which is kind of nice.
Mostly because defect.
His back.
Well, defect
backstory
accepted
sort
the
of
offer. Well, defect accepted the offer to share Umbradius's memories, which he could have rejected.
Oh, that's right.
Right. But he opted to share them, which gave him glimpses into his past from a certain viewpoint, which also like kind of rebooted his dormant memory. As time goes on, it is fairly comfortable to say that Blockadius would remember more about being Blockadius. That wouldn't mean that he would become Blockadius again, just that he would remember what he did when he was Blockadius. But when he was defect, it changed his life in every significant way.
Because we're
Was pretty
cooler than
impressive
Arcanatons.
what defect was. And that might have been like a slap in the face to your two emissaries from Defect Land, but I did drive the point home that you were Defect. This is who you were.
Yeah, which is how Spoot would have felt about it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it was very evident from like just the play, whatever, that Umbradius and Blockadius were together before the amnesia and everything. And Archimedalius was their friend, member of their house, clan, whatever. And Umbradius begged Archimedalius to, like, because they heard rumors of like a walking, talking statue through various, you know, means of information gathering. So they convinced Archimedalius to just try scrying on Blockadius. The problem was he wasn't Blockadius anymore. So they had to actually physically go to Johanna and try and track him down. So they started in Winton, and they used like invisibility, stealth, disguise self, all kinds of things to like essentially follow the trail that Defect had left behind him. Eventually catching up to him for the first time in Fay Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Which, do you remember that festival you all went to in Fay Harbor where like Defect danced with the woman Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah.
I thought that was Amber.
Oh, Amber.
Amber.
I
You're right.
remember it was like
It was
weird.
Amber.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
like-
Amber.
Weird. It's like, why would you name her Amber?
Yeah, Amber was Umbradius under the disguise under an illusion spell cast by Archimedalius.
Oh.
That's right, because you went looking for her again, couldn't find her anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I never remember that, but I do remember the first encounter. Yes.
That's funny. We were teasing you so much.
Yeah.
What is love? Apparently, it's a person in an illusion suit.
An Arcanaton
Oh,
in an illusion suit.
Arcanatron are people too. But like that was not the only like person who became interested in Defect. You might remember the Orcish hunter back in Bestville in the Errant Wilds. There was a rough and tumble, weathered, grizzled Orcish woman who was like, "You look like a big, strong one."
Oh yeah.
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 That was them.
No, that was not them.
Oh, okay.
But it was someone else who was attracted to Defect.
Defect is fine.
I guess the real question is, does Spoot ever return to Haggy?
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
I
Your
think
true love.
I think we've well established Spoot is about as asexual as they come.
Yeah.
So
Haggie's in Fay
if he ever
Harbor, isn't
returns
he?
to Haggy, it is to only buy things from Haggy and
Yeah.
to have a pleasant conversation that he thinks is nothing more.
Yeah. I was actually very interested once we got talking about Mucklow and Spoot's background as to the realization that Spoot was ace and like he had been dating someone but she wanted to like take the next step and he was just like yeah.
Right, because we all threatened to hunt down their new spouse or whatever it was. We're all like, no, revenge for
the
Spoot!
local bully, and I was like,
Yeah.
please don't kill the local bully. This could have
Yeah.
a really
Who's an
sad
asshole?
thing.
He was a jerk.
Yeah.
He is, yeah, but like
He
I don't
was,
even know if Spoot totally recognized that he was a jerk as much as like I think part of him was like, he's just
Which like
just a guy.
that is part of Spoot that infuriated him, that Spoot wouldn't rise to the bait. Yeah, because he's a bully, like,
Yeah.
and he was,
It's not
he's
funny.
that
Nobody gets upset about it.
he's that kid who never grew out of high school, And like you were all like, yeah, we're gonna kill him. Let's go beat him up. He's probably this evil sorcerer wizard thing. Like he was just a fucking dude. Like if any of you hit him without a weapon, like he had 4 hit points, you would have destroyed him. Because he was
the village of Bucklow would have never have recovered.
yeah, because you would have killed their sake distiller.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty decent sake if I remember.
It is, yeah. He's good at his job. It's his craft. It's his passion.
But he was a jerk.
Yeah, talking
to Spoot.
about that, definitely.
100%.
Well, I appreciate that. That's one of those moments where like Spoot has like logged all these like, my team is the best. They are all awesome. They almost killed someone on my behalf, which I said was a good idea, but I super appreciate the value. His like memoir of the journeys is just going to be like an exposition on how each of you is like the most amazing person ever.
Yeah, but it was fun. Yeah, because Spoot had been a love interest of Link, but after Spoot was like, "This isn't really my bag. I don't feel these emotions that you do," she had to move on after and find someone who could give her what she wanted. She became mated to Curl, who was the ceramic artist. He was the warrior, the like guard. He was like the big, tall, diamondback terrapin looking turtle. You're thinking of Turnt, who was the brewer.
Not the love interest, but he definitely was another important.
Yeah,
figure on
Turnt was the bully. Curl was the new mate of Link. Turnt was just a bully.
So we could have beat him up, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Well, like I mean, Curl had more hit points. That's true, but he had like maybe 25 hit points.
Could have hit him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like
maybe
he's not like a veteran. He's more like a guard. So like yeah, he can fight a little bit, but like it's Mucklow. There's not a lot of fighting to learn.
I definitely got the impression that like Mucklow, that would have been a pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like if you
Mucklow.
go,
There's not a lot of violence.
If you
crime rate's probably pretty low.
It's like if you go to like Chester, Massachusetts, and ask for the toughest warrior in town, which is a real place, and Amber's laughing because she knows it.
Place. That's why I'm laughing.
And you ask for their mightiest warrior, you're not gonna get like a ranger, You're gonna get
You're gonna get someone off the high school wrestling team.
Yeah, maybe. Except
I looked it up. The population of Chester is like just 1,300 people. So
yeah, there's not a lot. It's a very small town in the middle of the mountains. No, Turnt always got frustrated because Spoot would never like rise to the challenge, never took the baiting, because Turnt actually also was in love with Spoot when they were younger.
What?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Spoot. Spoot has no clue.
How could you not love Spoot? Right?
I
Everybody
didn't
loves
have any clue. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Spoot is my conscience. I don't love or hate him. He just is.
Just there.
That's
He just
hilarious.
He's just a
exists.
part of me, no matter what.
Spoot just exists.
I don't know how much of Spoot knows that, but I love kind of that is.
Spoot never knew, and like certainly Turnt was just a dick.
Sure. It's the whole Helga, hey Arnold like situation, huh?
Hey, football.
Oh,
fan.
Yeah.
No,
It took me a minute to get there because like I remembered Hey Arnold, I just had to remember which one was Helga.
oh yeah, the bully.
Yeah, the
But she
the
had
bully
a
girl.
shrine of a football head in her closet.
Yeah,
And
that's
what
right.
she called Hey Arnold.
It was
Also,
kind of like
by the
that.
way, your example of a small town is literally 3 times the population of my hometown. Just FYI.
Okay, well imagine your hometown then, and
There you
asking
go.
for
That
the
would be more closer to Mucklow.
Yeah.
And the strongest warrior would be Matt.
Okay.
Oh man,
Pittsburgh, New
Narrowing it
Hampshire.
down.
The greatest warrior in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. How about that?
Be right back. I'm gonna look up the population of Pittsburgh.
You're gonna misspell it. It's okay. Anyway,
Phillipsburg.
nope. Anyway, moving on. Is there any other questions or queries or wonders or like, oh, whatever happened to that person or anything like that from anybody?
It's hard to. I'm sure we'll think of something as the coming weeks as we're on.
Oh,
downtime,
yeah.
But that was mostly my big question. Was there anything? Because like as a DM, obviously there's lots of stuff you'll prepare that we never get to see, and some of that doesn't matter. But was there anything that you really wanted to say? Hey, I wish you could have seen this.
I would have loved for you to make alternate choices. I think all the choices
All the time, pretty much all the time.
No. I think all the choices you made in terms of which artifacts you went after were good. Like there wasn't a right or wrong, but it would have been interesting to see you make a couple of alternate choices.
As in?
So, for example, if you had chosen to go after the bow, you would have ended up in the Grove of Embering Elves before the Shade Reachers. And you would have had much more battle with the Cinderfolk and had to like go through their stronghold and all this other stuff.
And I might not have tortured their trees.
Probably
Yeah,
still
Olive
the
wouldn't.
trees.
Olive wouldn't have burned an ever-burning tree with alcohol.
Would we have still have fought the Dragon Lich?
Oh yeah.
Dracolit. I know that
Uh,
could have been such a huge arc, and instead
not-
we were on a rush.
Not necessarily.
That was a thing. That was definitely a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighting
It
Ziniondu.
killed the Duke. Yeah, it
Yeah.
killed the Duke. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
Fighting Ziniondu was always potential because Ziniondu was bound to the grove. And Ziniondu did have some sway and influence over the Cinderfolk, but was not, like, didn't necessarily control them, like, didn't own them.
So there was some Cinderfolk backstory things that could have been fleshed out that weren't.
Yeah, so
tied to
there
the
was
fact.
more there that would have been interesting to explore. But just because the grove is now changed forever because of the destruction of Ziniondu, does not mean the Cinderfolk are gone. Like they're still out there.
Interesting.
They're still
Maybe it's.
doing their thing. So
Doing Cinderfolk things.
yeah. So they're still out
Another
there.
boss that Defect had the final blow on, VT Dubs.
Mhm.
I'm just always going to bring those up because of like the whole arc about the.
Well, and then there was that whole village of people Adis knew, or not
Well-
that he knew, but what they were the old village, one of the old villages that he was looking for.
So you got
Oh.
leads that there was potentially some descendants.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of one of the tribes of one of the wolf tribes.
That's what I want to do.
But when Adis kind of left, that all kind of got sidetracked.
Oh,
Yeah.
That would have been a thing. That would have
Wasn't
been
there like
interesting.
a whole town floating in
Yeah.
the astral plane?
There was
I
yeah,
want to go to there.
there was a section of a town of the village of the Jackal, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because when some of you went back in time, you had that
Right.
adventure where you fought some amalgamations during a storm.
Timey-wimey stuff.
During a spell storm, which that affected how much of that would have lasted into the Astral Sea. Because you got most of them out okay, but there was some deaths because like some of them got through But yeah, so there was a section that went to the astral, and you did a quick, just like a peek through it with the saber, with the scimitar.
Right.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually go through it and go there. So you
I
didn't
want to go to there.
Right. So we kept being concerned that if we went into the astral sea, we get stuck there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because who knows what the latch blade does when it's already on the wrong
Well,
side.
also, can you breathe there?
Yeah. All things you don't know because
Yeah.
you didn't like really look into it.
Science.
But yeah, so there was a lot of that. Also, if you had chosen to go up to the Asmodeal Crucible to pursue Spired Lament, that would have been a very different environment. The Asmodeal Crucible.
There was a shard there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where Oligar acquired Spired Lament, which is the rod that Nereus now has in his possession.
Right. The bone thing. The bone stick.
Correct. The
Bone rod is what you're looking for.
The twisted vertebrae.
Yeah.
Call it what you want.
It is grim.
But isn't it like half purple?
It's like purple black. It's got the indigo gem kind of floating in between the cupped hands at the top.
Right.
But like half is red, half is black, or at least a very dark purple.
What would we have discovered there? Or is that where you leave it? ... Could have been a very different environment.
It's a very different environment. I will not tell you what you would discover there.
Because we're gonna go there next
campaign
time.
too.
You could.
Fair enough.
I will say that you didn't run into a lot of tieflings, if you remember.
No.
There were the highest concentration of tieflings that you ran into. You met one in Fey Harbor. There was the magic seller, the guy who sold magic material components. There was Classy Nick over in Winton.
Yeah.
I remember Classy Nick.
Nereus's kid brother.
Yep, Nereus had a kid brother. Also, one of the captains in Laurenton was a tiefling. But that's it. The only other place you met a tiefling or saw tiefling, you didn't actually go there, was in Red Sand. And there was a certain inn there that was owned by a tiefling that you were told about by Polyphor, I think was his name.
The Flumph?
No. Polyphor. The guy who ran Sand Dune Expositions, where you dropped off that first item you recovered. He had told you, oh, there's this inn in town. It's run by this tiefling woman. Her entire staff is tieflings.
I'm curious, is anyone playing a tiefling in campaign 2?
Nope.
I was so close to doing it just because there was
I thought
so
about
much,
it.
like,
I have a tiefling character set aside, but
I know, I was like, it's not a thing. We haven't seen a lot.
Yep. I will say there are a lot of tieflings, but most of them are up in the Asmodeal Crucible.
Which is another place we didn't go, obviously.
Well, that is the place we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, same place. Well, the first place being the inn that was run by tieflings.
Yeah. Pretty much, if you find a tiefling at this point in Johanna, they're somehow connected to the Asmodeal Crucible.
Good to know, which is all you can say about that.
Yep. You also could have tried and gone after Rebuke, which was up in the Pacifist Glacier.
Right.
Which is the shield that Spoot now owns.
Pretty cool shield.
If you you went after the Girdle of Gronk and got that from Gronk, which meant that the Shade Reachers had to go all the way over to the outcropping, find the Citadel, and get the Leveler.
That's the hammer.
That's the big Warhammer, yeah.
T-Peg's like, I know.
Yeah.
I definitely thought about it.
After we get my axe, we're gonna get the leveler.
Yeah.
All right, my fanfic. What happens when we get the leveler?
No, we
Gotta catch 'em all.
We have them now, and that's one of the things that what's his name, that Nereus is bringing back to where it came from, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, he's giving it to the dwarves. You're
Giving it back to the dwarves because it was theirs.
Yeah.
And we promised them we would. After we wreaked havoc on their underground.
After we
society.
dragged one of their occupants to death through their own kids.
Yeah, you didn't. You definitely were not considered like welcome there, but
No.
but you managed to convince them that you would return the leveler, which was the only thing that they like. Was the only reason they let you go. They bound you in an oath.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I'm glad that Nereus remembered the oath.
Well, that's where he learned to shatter things, isn't it?
possibly.
He did some big level spell and like tore a hole in the side of their thing.
Oh, that was
That
the
was
first.
place-
That was the first place he used disintegrate on a force shield.
Right,
Disintegrate,
disintegrate,
yeah.
yeah. Because there was the behind the scenes and the
Yep.
the outside.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, so like every choice you made affected, what your enemies were also doing. Because if you like got something, they were like, well, we can't get that one. We got to get another one.
Right. There was two of everything.
The only one you didn't get was one of the sway shard. I don't think you got that one.
Sway shard is the yellow, yeah?
Correct.
So give credit where credit is due. The bad guys did do a pretty good job of collecting that stuff too.
They had motivation and imperative.
And people apparently.
And
In
minions.
competition.
Well, that too.
They
yeah.
had an organization that worked out of a combination of fear and belief and coercion.
Oh man, what happened to that poor guard?
Which one?
Which
The
poor
nice
guard?
one who was like, oh no, I forget. Did we kill him? Darn it.
Probably, sadly, but which
You're gonna have to narrow it down.
Which nice guard?
which one did we kill? I don't know. There
Which
were a
nice?
lot.
The one in the dungeon?
The one in the dungeon who was like, I don't know, man.
Oh, the one that was hesitant about killing Nereus's kid brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't kill
I
him.
forget.
Umbradius killed him.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, Umbradius ganked. Umbradius was an assassin.
Yes, that's right. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Now I have it
Another
written down.
Assassin.
I blocked it because I was so sad.
Yeah.
Did you block Hades it?
Umbradius was like, I have to kill these people to rescue Blockadius. So they're
No,
going
that's
down.
fair. Yeah, that's fine.
No, he killed them all.
I
while
would've
the rest of us
too.
were
I
changed
just,
to our
and it,
personal prisons.
yeah, and he didn't hear the whole conversation. How was Umbradius to know?
Umbradius
Or-
wouldn't have been swayed.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Greg was the only one who
Ah.
saw that because the rest of us were all still chained to our personal prisons.
Are
Exactly.
you sure you want to unrequite the love of this?
That was one thing I was sad about, that we didn't get to see Spoot actually, that Matt was unavailable, so we didn't get to see Spoot in prison in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay. Well, there's another question for you. I'm sure there are a ton of things that I was unavailable for that it would have been different had I played out.
You were chained to a dead body.
No,
Oh, I'm sure
he
that
wasn't chained to a dead body. He was bound in a cell with a dead body that he would have discovered to be a Garian.
Agarian.
Oh,
That's sad.
that would have
That
been.
would've been sad for
He wasn't bound to him. He was just bound near him.
Correct.
Uh,
Because
Yeah, that would've-
Spoot was not particularly strong. He was a gifted divine caster. So
right.
bind him, bind him, gag him, and remove his equipment, and he's just a turtle.
Yeah.
Turtle, thank you very much.
Turtle with
Sorry.
a dead friend.
Yeah. And they knew that Agarian, like, it was evident from like the symbology that Agarian like worshipped the same god as Spoot. So when they killed Agarian, because they didn't know who he was just an extra spare guy as far as they were concerned. They killed him and threw the body in the cell with Spoot to fuck with Spoot's mind.
Yeah.
Like, Spoot's prison was a total mind fuck. The rest of you were physically bound and restrained and held in things that were designed so you couldn't do stuff.
Do it, yeah.
Whereas Spoot, they weren't as worried about. They were more worried about like breaking his mind. Because if he like spirals, then whatever.
Wow.
So Spoot was a subject of psychological torture.
That would have been interesting to play out. That would have been a pretty, after the like mini journey that Spoot made, that would have been a hard thing to have confronted head first and not been able to cast a spell to fix it.
Yeah, and well, you kind of got a little bit of closure on it when Spoot went on his little like I'm unconscious for 3 days journey. That figure that the Silver Woman guided down that path to wherever was Agarian.
Right.
Yeah, which was sad, but also, yes, it was some nice closure.
Yep. Yeah. So that was one thing that would have been fun to have Matt there for.
Fun?
Yeah.
Let's watch Matt roleplay this psychological torture. Won't that be exciting?
Sounds like entertainment to me.
Watching you squirm.
Yeah.
And
Instead, we all got to watch
way.
Tanner squirm with his tentacle porn.
That's right.
Oh yeah, the way you all were just like instantly like suspicious of like why are there tentacles writhing on this bridge? What the fuck is going on? Yeah.
Shady.
Which like there was no shadiness going on there. It was purely to help you, which would not have happened had Tanner not made that deal and decided to go into a level of Warlock.
Oh, is this when I was like, hey, Greg, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm pretty sure this is just one of those things we have to trust because it happened?
Yeah, on the bridge in Craghold. After you slayed Oligar. Who, like, he was a total dickbag, but I loved that guy. Like, Oligar was evil. He was evil and cruel and vindictive, but he was smart.
I'm still so mad that we had him in the Astral Sea and I nudged him out with a cantrip by mistake.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, he would have been dead so long ago had I not cast the stupid cantrip and nudged him out of the Astral Sea.
Well, you don't know that he would have been dead, but...
He would have been floating in the Astral Sea.
We'll see.
What would have happened to that? Would you like to expound, Jared? Had he been stuck in the Astral Sea?
It was very unlikely that you would have trapped him there because that window that you kicked him through was going to be open for like another minute. Because like you couldn't close the thing with the latch blade. That's the thing about it. The portal stays open for a minute. So he would have had plenty of time to get back there.
Don't blame yourself.
Not if we kept pushing him.
He just would have. He just would have kept slashing you from like 10 feet away on the other side of the portal until you dropped. And
Thunderstep, not Thunderstep. Thunderwave.
One of us had the ability to build a stone wall.
I was trying to push him in. Instead, I pushed him the wrong damn way.
Ooh, we could build a wall. Build.
One of us could have built a stone wall. I don't remember what spell that is, but I know one of us had it.
I don't think you had access to that spell at that time because you were all still pretty. You were all like level 6, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
mean-
the moment?
I was
Did you
throwing
try-
cantrips at him because I didn't have anything else.
It was the
that worked.
first time you faced him.
Yeah.
Before
It
you
was like
bought
join us or
Mrs.
die.
Yeah.
It was in the
Yeah.
manor, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
one of those moments that I like am sort of it could have I don't know if it would have been campaign breaking, but it could have gone this horribly wrong. But I was sort of proud of Spoot's decision to be like, if all of my friends have to kill me right now, I'm not joining you.
Which was very powerful.
And the fact that we got an extra guard on our side was kind of
Yeah, you convinced one of the guards to flip.
I kind of feel bad for that because I think she died soon after, but
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She-
Yes.
Yeah.
They did.
She did die in one of the raids on a Red Crow base.
Yeah.
That she and Kaelin were as part of their punishment. They were doing community service, and part of it was
Yeah.
rooting out all the Red Crow crap out of Fay Harbor. So they were. She was not in the explosion that Kaelin was in, and like Kaelin succeeded and saved everybody from the explosion that was at the safe house that he was leading a raid on, because he noticed that the thing was going to happen. She was not as lucky, so she died in one.
I guess I
Yeah.
shouldn't feel that bad because had she not died then, she might have died at our hands. So,
You had convinced her to turn her life around. Like she was,
yeah, she died a good guy, good person.
Yeah.
she died on the path to redemption.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll pray for her. But yeah, that was it. That was interesting. We were hit with that pretty early on with the, do this thing or you'll all die scenario. And that was actually after, right, we had lost to the Red Crows the first time. That was a pretty big moment, I think, as a significant milestone in the campaign where we had to run away with our tails tucked between our legs only to come back later to liberate the town.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Bodo
That's right.
when
Yeah.
Bodo fireballed you all.
Yeah.
There were some while we weren't TPK moments, there were some humbling moments in the early campaign.
Yeah.
That is often when they happen.
Yeah. But that's what makes them memorable, I guess.
Absolutely. There were a few times where you guys did way better than I thought you'd do, and then you would turn around and do way worse.
Wait, where?
Dumb. Just wolves.
By that you mean
Regular
pretty
knoll.
much all the time you were shocked at how poorly we chose to do things.
No, there are times where you were finding your feet with your characters and whatever.
Yeah. And then there were times Olive would run off by herself and nearly get killed while no one knew because she was on the wrong side of the wall.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. And we're like, well,
there's advantages and disadvantages to putting distance between you and your party members.
Yeah.
It makes
It wasn't
area
such good.
it makes area of effect spells less effective, but it means
Yeah.
that you don't have the protection of the big strong guy with the axe.
Yep.
this
so,
is the lesson that we've learned. Friends are good.
Yes.
Befriend a cleric.
What was it? Pick, die, save lives.
That was our first
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
way in the beginning.
Way back at the beginning.
Wait, what was the first? What did you say?
That was our
Pick,
first or
die,
second
Guys.
episode when Greg hid behind Spoot's.
Hashtag thick thighs save
Thick
lives.
thighs.
And that is how the campaign will end. I'm just kidding. Now it's the other way around. Spoot's following Greg.
Still gonna hide behind your thighs.
Very true. I gave you all some tough situations, like the cannery burning down with all the people inside was
The people in it.
yeah.
There was no winning that.
Yeah. Because you could either let them all burn and stop the baddies, or save the people and not stop the baddies. So, you came out of it as best you could have.
Yep.
Which that's why Bodo got away.
Fucking Bodo.
There are so many
you
things.
You did
that
kill
were like,
Lakama.
oh,
Or no, you didn't kill Lakama there.
No,
That's
Lakama
sorry.
was later.
That's why Lakama got away,
all
because
their bad
Lakama was
guys.
running that town. Lakama was running
Right.
Southbrook. She got away on her Griffin.
I would say and the Griffin, and then I tried to Earthbind the Griffin, and by then, like, the Griffin was dead.
Yeah.
I was so excited about getting Earthbind so I could bind that damn Griffin, and then we just killed it.
Yeah. Or Hippogriff or whatever she rode.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Big
but,
flying thing.
There were so many
but
bad
Lakama
guys.
got away.
Why are you down? What happened? Did you do that on purpose? I don't even know how you did that. You're not touching the keyboard, but there was a big thumbs down on.
Yeah, big
right
thumbs
next to
down
Amber's
over
face.
Amber's head, like in a thought bubble.
Oh.
What?
I didn't
You
see
had
it.
this little cartoon thought bubble
Yes,
above your
yes.
head with a thumbs down on it.
Weird.
Which is amazing because your arms were crossed. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Can I thumbs down another person?
I
Someone try to do
bet
that.
it. I bet it's Mike, because he's just sitting there being quiet. I bet he's causing trouble.
No, I'm not hitting anything.
Sure.
Is it because I'm on?
I'm looking now.
My
how
phone?
To...
Maybe?
Does the phone do expressions?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Does it look at you and it tries to think about what you're thinking, and you look like
Maybe.
it thumbs down when you do that?
Yeah.
I'm trying. Make the
Well,
thumbs down.
Keep doing it. We'll see if it happens again.
Well, unless anyone has any other questions or thoughts or anything to share, we can wrap up this Q&A, this wrap up here.
Oh yeah, wow, it's almost 10
Does
already.
anyone have any Does anyone have any collective frustrations about all the hard things Jared put us through over the last 4 years, or did we all just forgive him?
love
we beat
it.
The end boss.
No, I love all the hard things.
If it
it's
was
so
easy, would
impressive.
you have fun?
Yes.
It'd be
we had
different.
Reluctantly, I say yeah. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
No,
I mean there were definitely nights where I was like, "Wow, this sucked."
I love
This
it.
is
I
hard,
never
or I
felt
died,
like
or
Jared
whatever.
was trying to actually get us. There were so many times where I was like, "Oh, we deserved
Oh, I
to
thought that
die,"
every day.
Yeah.
and Jared would be like,
Well,
"Well,
there were lots of times I
actually,"
did
and I was
too.
like, "Oh shit, you're too nice."
We're not dead
I
yet.
think for every time that I thought you were trying to actually destroy us, you also were like, "I'm not going to let you totally die." So.
Yeah.
No, it's all dice rolls. Like, the dice rolls were shared in the video, in the chat. Like, so like stream could see all the dice rolls happening. I did not pull any punches. I'm sure like I forgot like
That
certain
is what's
abilities
fun
at
about
times.
us not seeing the dice rolls.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like that's what's fun about not seeing, because we have this sort of like we make up our own backstory of like, no, Jared was really trying to kill, or no, he saved our lives today.
Yeah,
No, because well, that's the thing.
I'm
like
sure you got some
I give
things
you the
for us you can't
situation,
tell
and
us
you
about.
approach the situation however you want to. But like once the dice start rolling, I have no control over anything. Because like the dice
What makes
can
it-
be good or the dice can be mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't control
That's
that.
what makes it
algorithm.
memorable. And at the end of the day, we all defeated the big bad. So
You did. You did.
mission,
And
success.
somehow survived the experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly the entire
will of
original
Greg.
party survived.
I was gonna say most of us came out of it with a pretty significant character story too. So
Definitely.
even if no one cared to listen to Olive's version.
Olive just writes this tell-all tale at the end of it. It's this really sour, like burn book. Then she just
Yeah.
then she just hides it in a tree and doesn't like get it published ever.
yeah. That's her. That's the Olive fanfic.
It's at the
Okay, to
center
make
of the
it canon,
Druid
I don't
Grove.
know if Spoot publishes his story in like mass. I think maybe there's one volume of it that he gives to Seda to put in the library. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay. I dig it. Cool. Well, all right. I think that is a wrap on Grig and the Misfits, Campaign 1 of Nuuli Forged. I think that's the wrap, y'all.
Yay!
So thank you all for playing. Thank you, Tanner, Sarah, Amber, Matt, Mike. Thank you, I've Got It, for being here since the beginning, being our moderator. Thank you very much. And thank you to anyone else who came in, stopped by, raided, whatever, during this campaign adventure. It was a lot of fun. I hope everybody had fun. And we're going to take a few weeks off.
Did you have fun?
I did have fun. I really enjoyed playing with you all. And I look
Good.
forward to playing everyone in the next campaign as well. Our next campaign will be in a few weeks. We still have some building to do. We may be shifting the night. We have to talk about that as a collective due to Tanner's new arrangements.
Right.
And we are going to have a new player joining us as well.
Right. I
So,
forgot about the new player.
so that will be fun to get involved here as well.
At some point, I have to give my character a name.
And yes, thank you, I've Got It, for being a
It better
consistent
rhyme with
reference.
class.
You've given your character a name.
I kind of did, but it's like what the random name generator pulled up. Like it's not
Okay. Well,
like
you-
it wasn't. It was yeah, that's fine for now, and I'll deal with it later. And then I
okay.
haven't looked at it since.
Well, we'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. That's all great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do look forward to these new characters, and I have kind of a fun overarching idea. So we'll see how it goes for you all, and it'll be new characters. So come back with that. We have to nail down the final date, but as soon as we have it, we will announce it, of course. The next few weeks, we all have various obligations and vacations, so we're going to go do that.
Mhm.
And
Apparently, we're all going somewhere next week. Everyone's scattering.
and thank you for being here for this adventure. Let's go around and say our goodbyes. I figure out who we gonna raid. Let's start with Matt.
Good night. Thanks for caring and watching. And yeah, so next time you see me, I'll still be Matt, but it won't be Spook.
And Sarah.
The end.
That's me. Thank you all so much for paying attention to our little game. And you can watch the rest of it. Whatever you missed that you said when we talked about it tonight, you went, "What the heck was that? I missed it." It's all on YouTube. And we'll make an announcement. When we make an announcement, it'll be on like all kinds of social media. We're Nuuli Forged, all over the places. And sometimes we remember to amplify those announcements. Sometimes we don't, but we try. Sometimes it's just from the Nuuli account, so you should follow that in all the places to learn our things. And I'm rambling, so thanks. Okay, bye.
Wonderful. And then we got Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber. I will forever be Grig on the inside. Thanks for joining us on the Grig Show.
Great.
Hashtag Griefect.
It's true.
Hashtag
it's
Are
true.
we Groot
No,
yet?
it really is. No. You had it right the first time.
No,
We
are we
have
Groot
Groot.
yet?
Big
Sorry, once Defect leaves. We're Groot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're
Yeah.
Groot.
Groot.
I had a train of thought and then I lost it because I was trying to be sassy. The end. Goodbye.
And Mike.
Good night, everyone. I'm Mike. I play Defect. And one last thing to add to this is that prior to playing this campaign, I didn't know any of you. I mean,
No.
aside from Jared, of course. And like over 4 years, like you guys became really, really good friends, and I always look forward to playing with you guys. So,
Yay.
you guys.
What the fuck?
Did you see that?
I did see that.
How did you do that?
That's mushy. Cut it out.
I didn't. What?
Whoa.
Is that a thing on Discord? Wait, am I
It's not
doing it?
happening for me.
No, it
I am
doesn't work for any
disappointed.
of
Do
us.
it. Hold on.
This is only the
Alright,
phone
that
thing.
looks like a heart.
Maybe it's the phone.
Oh, maybe
That's what happened earlier when you were looking
it's
all like.
it's something on the
And you
phone.
blamed it on me, Jared.
Yeah.
Shame.
I think it's something
Yeah.
bad
Oh,
that
yeah.
blames on
What
you.
other gestures?
I have
can
no
you do?
shame about it. It was a valid
Sorry, totally
hypothesis. So it's just
distracted.
proven wrong.
No, that was a great way to end it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
hearts all around. Love you guys.
Agree.
Yay!
Okay. And I have been Jared, your
Yeah,
humble
we
dungeon
actually did
master
some
here
stuff in the
on
lab.
Newly Forged. Thank you all so much. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I don't know if Happy Juneteenth
yeah.
is the right thing, but yay Juneteenth. End of slavery. Gotta love it. Yeah, so we'll see you then. What? You gotta love the end. It was
Mike's
a bad thing. It was a bad thing. Why is that funny?
It was the way you said it, man. Like, happy Juneteenth.
Whatever. I'm not doing holidays anymore.
Merry Juneteenth. I don't know.
I'm never mentioning a holiday again.
All right.
All right.
And see.
All right, whatever. We're gonna raid 5% chance because they're doing some D&D shit over there. So
Happy
let them know.
solstice,
Let
everyone.
them know that they've been newly
Oh.
raided. We'll see you next time for the first episode of Campaign 2 here on Newly Forged. When we get that, and we'll let you know in a few weeks when that is. So thank you all very much for being here. Catch up on YouTube. Don't be a dick. Be nice. Be smart. Be safe. And don't believe the lies. I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't know. We're gonna go with that.
It
Anyway,
is now.
And vote.
Sure.
and vote. Yes.
Yeah. Early voting just started for the primaries, at least in New York.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yes. So do that. All right. So that's it. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Ciao.
Woohoo.